Hi, everyone, and welcome to Saskatoon for the Canadian Midget Baseball Final. We're just moments away from the start of today's final game at the championship here at Cairns Field. I'm Jay Boyd. I will be your host this afternoon. Also on the broadcast crew, Kevin Waugh, who will call the play-by-play today, and Bill O'Donovan, who will do the color commentary. And gentlemen, lovely day for a ball game. We came out here this morning, Kevin. It was cloudy. It looked threatening, but we've got a heck of a day and a good ball game coming up.
It's been a great week. It didn't rain during the games, and they really had a treat Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and of course today turned out great. It's hot weather. The two teams in the final are well prepared. They played in the semifinal this morning. We expect a very close game between Richmond, BC, and Portage, Prairie from Manitoba.
Bill, what are you looking for from these two teams? We've seen them for the last couple of days. Two good-looking ball teams.
Well, I think when I was talking to the two managers this morning, they talked about defense, and they talked about the fact of how much one play, an error, a pass ball, a wild pitch, how much that plays in the importance of the ball game. When these two teams met during the course of the tournament, it was simply a matter of defense as far as Larry Cochran was concerned. They got 3 runs, shut out Manitoba 3-0, but other than that, it was a close game, just except for 1 inning.
8 teams here at the tournament in Saskatoon this week. There were 2 different pools, Bill. Let's begin by looking at Pool A and the 4 teams in that pool.
As far as Pool A was concerned, BC finished on top because of the fact that they allowed the fewest runs. There was then a tie. There was actually 3 teams that finished with marks of 2 wins and 1 loss. And the second place, as far as that was determined, Alberta was given Manitoba was given second place because of the fact that they had posted an earlier win. And as far as the other grouping was concerned, it was Quebec was the team that was left out, mainly again because of they had lost their round-robin game to Alberta, and the Atlantic champion Newcastle had finished with the best record in terms of allowing runs.
And Kevin, of course, both teams in the championship game now from Pool A. No team from Pool B in the final game.
That's right. The semifinals this morning were very interesting, and like Bill said, it was a play, and I thought Richmond, BC came from behind against Alberta to win it by a score of 2-1. They scored the winning run on a pass ball. It was a very close game. They won it, I think, in the 6th inning. The other game wasn't so close. Manitoba defeated Atlantic, and I really think the Atlantic team, Newcastle, was very tired, and it really showed in the first inning. They got the first 2 outs, and then Manitoba scored 3 unearned runs in that ball game, and they won it 6-1. So both teams are very fresh right now. They're anxious to get going, and I think we're going to see the 2 best teams here in Saskatoon the last 4 days in Richmond, BC, and Portage, Prairie, Manitoba.
And of course, that bronze medal game just ending a few minutes ago.
That's right. Atlantic came back and beat Alberta by a score of 5-3. In a way, it's kind of anticlimactic for both teams because they were involved in the semifinals. There was an emotional letdown, but it's still nice to win the bronze medal.
Okay, we're just a few minutes away from the start of the Midget Canadian Baseball Final. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
To start the proceedings this afternoon, we would like to introduce the 2 teams. First of all, from British Columbia. Leading off, the shortstop, number 32, Steve Doherty. Batting number 2, the center fielder, number 1, Brad Cooper. Batting number 3, the second baseman, number 7, Adam DeBray.
And we're back at Cairns Field here in Saskatoon, just moments away now from the start of this afternoon's game between Richmond and Portage La Prairie. With us, the 2 managers of the ball teams today. And Larry Cochran, let's begin with you and your BC team from Richmond. Are you all set for this one? Are there any jitters before a big game like this begins for a Canadian championship?
I thought there would be, but we're either tired or very calm, and I don't know which. But we're ready.
Okay, Bob Calder, coaching Portage La Prairie. What about your team? Obviously must be set for this one. This is what you play all season long for.
Well, judging from yesterday when we had the discussion about getting in here when we thought we were going to be out, it's just a plus for us now, and we're ready to.
Bob, Well, we'll ask both managers about the other teams. And Bob, let's begin with you and ask you about the team from Richmond. You saw them the other day. What about their ball club? What do you think of them?
Well, good defense and good solid pitching. Like, we're going to have to scrape out some runs, and hopefully, you know, it's going to be a 1 or 2 run game, and that's all you can ask for these boys.
And Larry, what about this team from Manitoba, Portage, Prairie?
Very strong hitting team, very explosive. We feel that we have to have a defense, a fine defense, to stay in the game and to pressure their defense.
Let's talk about the starting pitchers. Who's on the mound for you today? Tell us about him.
Eric Pateman, he pitched 7 innings of shutout ball against Ontario Thursday. Let in a run in the 8th inning. He says he's ready, and he's a very, very effective pitcher.
Bob, who's on the mound for your team this afternoon?
Travis Blaine, an 18-year-old from Brandon, one of our pickups. He's well rested. He only threw 2 innings this weekend, so we hope we get a good outing from him.
Very quickly, I'd like to ask you what you have thought about the tournament so far. We're into the final day now, the final game. How have you enjoyed it here?
I was telling the boys, it's one of the nicest diamonds we've ever played on, and it's just the pro atmosphere here, and it's just really good for the boys to be here.
Larry, what about you and the kids from British Columbia that have come in? How have you found the tournament this week?
Well, we have found the playing facilities just excellent, and the thing we've enjoyed most, however, is the talent we've played against. There are such excellent players here and fine teams that it's just been a pleasure the whole time.
Gentlemen, thank you both, and good luck in this afternoon's game. Coming up on the final game of the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship, and we'll be back in a moment. Game in Canadian Midget Baseball just minutes away, and we'll get to the game in just a moment or two, but right now, here's Kevin Waugh.
Ed Bryant, the president of the Saskatchewan Baseball Association. Ed, let's talk about baseball in the province. Just your thoughts on how the year has gone.
Well, Kevin, we've had an excellent year this year within our province and also within our city here. As you can well see going on behind us here, we have the Canadian Midget National Championship. We've got the premier teams from 8 teams from across Canada. We have a host team from Saskatoon. We have a provincial rep team from Regina. We have so far had very good baseball. There's only been a couple of games that were decided by a large score, but the teams are pretty well all competitive.
How is baseball doing in the province?
Actually, Kevin's doing very well. This year, our percentage of registration is up approximately 51% over last year. And hopefully next year we'll be even up more than that.
That's marvelous. So any reason why kids are picking up the game of baseball?
I think there's several factors, Kevin. One of them is most definitely our 2 professional teams, the Expos and the Blue Jays, and in particular the success the Blue Jay organization has had. And the young people see that, and they all want to be Major League Baseball players, which is good. The other factor, the scenario that I have in my mind is that when things and times are a little bit economically difficult, a little bit tough out there, baseball seems to thrive. That's sort of been the indicator that's over the years, and I think we're in sort of a recovery process. We're in a recession now, coming out of it, but I think that's the reason why people are turning to baseball. It's a very entertaining sport, very, very inexpensive also.
It's a great day for a ball game here in Saskatoon. Just a few clouds in the sky, mainly sunny, no chance of any rain this afternoon, and we will have a good one. Right now, let's go upstairs to the play-by-play man, Kevin Waugh, and our color commentator this afternoon, Bill O'Donovan.
Well, thanks very much, Jay. I think we expect a very good game this afternoon between the British Columbia champions from Richmond and the Manitoba champions from Portage. And, Bill, we've seen ball here for the last 3-4 days. I think you said it in the opening very well, that the defense is going to play a very important part in this ball game, as it did yesterday morning when these two teams met.
Well, I know as far as BC is concerned, talking with Larry Cochran, he felt that is the main strength of his ball club, is the fact that they do play very good defensive ball, and Larry exchanging the scorecards now with the umpiring crew.
That's right. At home plate this afternoon, we'll have Howard Cross calling the balls and strikes. He's from Moose Jaw. Al Johnson of Red Deer will be at first base. At second will be Brian Jansen from Eston. And we have John Kelly from Calgary. John Kelly from Calgary at third base. He'll be looking after calls down that line. And there you see the umpiring crew, and we had a lot of umpires here throughout Canada taking part. Manitoba will be the home team, and we have the infield as Jason Pilkington will be their first baseman. Chris Johnson at second. Shane Calder is the shortstop. Cliff McCartney will be at third. And the outfield will be Rogerson, Croy, and McCrae. And behind the plate will be Sid Coop. That is defensively for the Manitoba champions from Portage. Just looking at the umpire crew, and they're going over the rules right now, Bill, and they're discussing a number of factors, and this is the time to do it in case you have any confusion whatsoever during a ball game. It's nice to sit down with the coaching staff of both teams and explain what could go on a ground rule or whatever.
I'm curious to see how many runs will get scored here today, Kevin, because as we mentioned, it's been, in the most part of this tournament, a very low-scoring affair. BC beating Manitoba 3-0. We haven't seen runs, there's a few 11-0 ball games, but really runs have been at a premium as far as this tournament is being concerned. And when you have two good defensive teams, like we do here today, I think runs will certainly be at a premium, and who can do that first is going to be in the driver's seat, so to speak.
That's right. For Manitoba, for example, they only allowed 5 runs in 3 games during the tournament, and they look very good.
Here's a look at Travis Blaine. He's the starting pitcher for the championship final for Portage Prairie. Travis actually a pickup. He hails from Brandon, and as far as he's concerned, he throws a good curveball. And as a matter of fact, Bob Calder says that this left-hander uses the good curveball to set up the fastball. That's his quality pitch. His fastball isn't as dynamic, shall we say, as his curveball. He has pitched just 2 innings in the tournament, has allowed only 1 hit, no decisions, and is not giving up any earned runs.
I think we should say the midget age in Canada is 15, 16, 17, and 18. It's really 16 to 18, but a number of teams have 15-year-olds here. So when you're seeing a left-hander who can throw some junk and a curveball, I think we can see some strikeouts here this afternoon.
Talking to manager Bob Calder, he feels that Travis is a strikeout pitcher, and he'll go to this curveball to get those Ks. As you mentioned about the left-handers, Manitoba just has 2 left-handers on their staff, and actually in the whole tournament you don't see that many southpaws.
Travis Blaine has been kept kind of at bay by Manitoba. They didn't want to throw him too much during the tournament. In fact, he only went 2 innings. Bill gave up a hit and 3 walks. He pitched 1 inning against the Saskatchewan team from Regina, and he pitched 1 inning against Ontario. So they wanted him for the big game. He is their man. He's their stopper. And I thought Manitoba did a great job, especially Bob Calder, the head coach, in keeping Travis Blaine. And we also saw Filion earlier in the semifinal. He won the game, a complete game, and he saved his 2 best pitchers for the playoffs, and you can't ask for anything more than that. Travis Blaine on the mound for Manitoba Portage. Our first batter this afternoon, Steve Doherty. And Steve takes a called strike. Steve is the shortstop for Richmond.
He was a member of the BC team at the Canadian Junior Championships that were held recently in Regina. One of 2 players on this BC club that attended those junior championships.
Scored around a fake bunt. It's 1-1. In the tournament, he was 5 for 10 for 500, so he did the job. Swung through that one. Semi-final this afternoon. Earlier, it was for Doherty a game that he didn't get on base. He went 0 for 3, so kind of a tough start in the semi-final game. A game won by Richmond over Sherwood Park, Alberta by a score of 2-1. That one's down third base line, just foul. So the count will remain 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Might mention, as a matter of fact, though, Kevin, that Doherty leads his teams in runs scored. He's scored 5 runs, including the semifinal contest. Good leadoff man, and has some speed. Play shortstop, 16-year-old ball player, and lots of promise.
Had a triple during the tournament, and that shows you the speed because we only had 1 homer, and it was an inside the park job. That's high, so we have a count of 2 balls and a strike. 2-2 actually to Steve Doherty, the shortstop leading it off for BC Richmond Yankees as we have our feature game, the Canadian Championship Final here from Cairnsfield, Saskatoon. There's a line drive to center field, and it will drop in there. The umpire's right on there. Cam Croy, the center fielder of Manitoba, made a nice play, but just couldn't come up with it, and that should be a base hit for Steve Doherty.
Well, this is what BC wanted, to get their leadoff batter on base. Brad Cooper, their center fielder, who can put down the bunt as well as anyone in this tournament. And I'm sure BC will simply just try and move the runner over to second.
That was a good play by the center fielder, Cam Croy, trying to make the play. It was a shoestring catch and nearly had it, but Doherty's on with a single, and it brings up Brad Cooper, who laid down a beautiful bunt in the semifinal game against Sherwood Park that eventually won the game for Richmond. There's a look at the stats of Cooper. 3 for 9 in the tournament, 1 for 2 in this morning's semifinal game, and there's the bunt down third base. Cliff McCartney picks it up to first, not in time. He beats it out, Brad Cooper.
Well, as we talked about, Kevin, speaking with manager Larry Cochran, he said that Brad Cooper might likely be his quickest man going down the line, and you can see as he puts the bunt down, beats the throw to first base, and that's a infield single. We've got runners now at first and second and nobody out.
Good call by first place base umpire Al Johnson. Good running by Brad Cooper. Now we're getting into the meat of the order. Adam Debray is next, followed by Chris Randall, the 3 and 4. You can see Debray's stats there, 3 runs, 4 hits, no RBIs. 3 for 10 in the tournament, 0 for 3 in this morning's semifinal game for Richmond against Alberta, but he has men in scoring position, first and second. Doherty at second, Cooper at first, none away, first inning. Here's the pitch, and another bunt. This goes down first base line. Blaine picks it up, shovels it over to first. Pilkington steps on the base, and the sacrifice in that case, with Doherty going over to third and Cooper to second, and a very wise move by Adam Debray on the sacrifice to get runners, both of them now in scoring position.
Excellent bunt as he pushes it past the pitcher who has to come off the mound and make the play, and he had no alternative but to go to first base. And a look at the lead runner, Steve Doherty, pulling up at third base. This certainly sets the table now for Chris Randall, the cleanup batter.
And there's Chris, his stats. Look at the RBIs, 6. Scored 2 runs, had 4 hits, base on ball, but the big stat is RBIs. Leading the team, and here he is with men at third and second, 1 away. And the pitch from Travis Blaine, outside. Boy, Blaine has himself in some trouble here in the first inning. And talking to Bob Calder, he was worried that Travis wouldn't warm up properly enough, and that was one of the things that he was worried about entering this game. He said if he could get by the first inning, he could sail. He's in trouble here with men at second and third, 1 away. Chris Randall, the first baseman for Richmond, at the plate. Here's the pitch. Low and inside, 0-2. So we have 2 balls and no strikes against Randall. 2 for 8 during the tournament with the triple. He's the big guy. Least effective, they said, for the cleanup hitter. He could handle it. And that's something that the coach, Larry Cochran, wanted from Randall. Just accept the fact you can bat, clean up, and do the job. 2-0 pitch. There it is, finally gets the called strike. It was a slow call, but he finally got it from home plate umpire Howard Cross, and it's a strike, 2-1. He needed that.
Doherty was coming off his base at third, halfway down the line. I think more to upset Travis Blaine than any other maneuver.
And in scoring position for Chris Randall. Excellent count to hit. 2 balls and a strike, 1 away here in the opening inning. The Canadian Midget Baseball Championship. And he scored around, but again, it was outside. 3-1 now, Bill, and it's obvious that Travis Blaine has not found his control.
Hasn't found the plate yet. That's certainly one of the problems, Kevin.
I think we've got to give Brad Cooper a little credit, plus Adam Debray, the way they bunted and got him off his game. That can really shake a pitcher up. All of a sudden, you got 2 guys on, and that's what he's faced with here with Randall. An excellent hitting count once again, 3-1. see if Randall takes on this. Squares around again. He's going to lay it down first base line. Let's see who's going to pick it up. It is going to be Pilkington. Nobody there. Everybody's safe, and we have our first run of the ball game. Doherty comes in to score, and Richmond leading Portage by a score of 1-0.
Another excellent bunt as he pushes it past the pitcher coming off his mound, and no one there to pick it up in time and no one to cover first base in time other than the pitcher. So an RBI for Chris Rendell. As we mentioned, he had driven in 6 runs through the tournament. Steve Doherty scoring the game's first run. And now runners at first and third as Cooper was able to go all the way to third base in the play.
So Cooper's at third, and we have Chris Randall at first for Andrew Cochran, and he was hot during the tournament. The left fielder was 4 for 9. We can see if he can drive in a run here. 1-0 Richmond, and they struck early here in the top of the first inning of the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship. There's a ball that gets away. Everybody holds up, although going on to second base on the play was Chris Randall, and he's there, so we have again men in scoring position here, second and third. Cooper at third, Randall at second base, and that was a ball, so it's 1-0.
Good block by the catcher, Sid Coop, to get in front of it. Didn't allow the ball to get by him and to the backstop, and kept, mind you, the runner got to second base. At the same time, he didn't allow Brad Cooper to try and score from third.
3 straight bunts in this first inning by Richmond, and it has paid off. They're leading 1-0 and have men in scoring position for Andrew Cochran, the left fielder. And he drives that out into left field. Coming over for the play is Tony Rogerson. Tagging up at third, coming in to score is Brad Cooper, and it's 2-0 for Richmond. So it will be a sac fly for Andrew Cochran. Gets the job done.
There's the catch by Rogerson, but no chance at all to get Brad Cooper, who was tagging up, and there he goes. No chance at all for Rogerson to get Cooper. 2-zip in favor of the Richmond Yankees. 2 outs and a runner at second.
No play at all at the plate, so Richmond leading 2-0. And Jamie Croker, the designated hitter, they use the designated hitter in midget baseball. Really don't have to, it's an option, and in this case, Richmond has decided to use Jamie in this position. It's outside and high, ball 1. Jamie pitched the last game of the semifinal, Bill, and did very well, got the win as Richmond defeated Sherwood by a score of 2-1.
Many of these ball players, of course, are versatile, play all positions. Not only do they pitch, but they'll play either the infield or the outfield.
That one gets away, and going down to third very quickly is Chris Randall, and he's there. So we have, again, a man in scoring position here as Randall moves down very quickly and is at third base and ready to be picked up by Jamie, who during the tournament was 2 for 4 in the semifinal game against Alberta this morning was 1 for 3. So he's a guy that you can count on to at least get a hit in the ball game.
And again, we're running into problems with some wild pitches, some walks. Well, no walks, but we're running into problems with wild pitches, moving the base runners over into scoring position.
That's right. Sid Coop has had a little trouble here with Travis Blaine. Here's the pitch. And we see center fielder Cam Croy going to camp under it, makes the catch with one hand. And that is the end of the first inning, but a very profitable inning for the Richmond Yankees as they come up with 2 runs to take, actually they come up with 2 runs to take the 2-0 lead after a half an inning. Our live coverage of the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship will continue after this message. Good afternoon again, everyone. Kevin Waugh, Bill O'Donovan, Jay Boyd in Saskatoon at Cairns Field for the final game of the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship. Portage Jays against the Richmond Yankees. The Yankees have grabbed a 2-0 lead. Defensively now for BC, they're infield. John Sotel at third, Steve Doherty at short, Adam DeBray at second, and Chris Randall will be the first baseman. Behind the plate, Chad Ostapovich. And the outfield will be Andrew Cochran, Brad Cooper, and Alan Attridge from left to right. And the starting pitcher today will be Eric Pateman, the big guy. Actually hasn't seen that much work, Bill.
Well, he did. He actually pitched the opening game. Just to correct you for a minute, on Thursday he pitched against Ontario, lost a very tight 1-0 extra inning game. He went 7 2/3 against Ontario. Earned run average 1.20. He throws a fastball, curveball. And speaking with manager Larry Cochran, he says Bateman has a great change of speed. He likes to mix up the speeds on his fastball as well as his curveball, and keeps batters guessing. And Bateman is another one of those pickups. He played this past season with North Delta, and has joined this Richmond Yankees All-Star squad. As I mentioned, has pitched once, but says he's ready to go today.
We'll see what he can do. Eric Pateman, and Chris Johnston steps in, the second baseman of Portage. And during the tournament, Chris had kind of a tough time, 1 for 7 during the semifinals, 1 for 3, but as head coach Bob Calder told us, don't really be affected by the 1 for 7. He did his job. He got on base a couple of times during walks and set things up. And Chris Johnston is the first batter here for Manitoba. The Portage Jays, they're down 2-0 at the bottom of the first inning here against the Richmond Yankees. Chris has to get things going here for Portage. BC, they only gave up 2 runs all tournament, including today's semifinal victory over Alberta. So they're a team very good defensively and don't give up a lot. Here's the pitch from Pateman. It's high. We're looking at 2 balls and a strike.
As far as the BC team is concerned, Kevin, you're mentioning runs allowed. They beat Manitoba, as we mentioned earlier, 3-0, beat Saskatchewan. That's the Regina team 11-1.
Yeah, base hit to left field to lead things off by Johnston.
And as we mentioned as well, they lost the only loss so far was 1-0 decision to Ontario, so just allowed 2 runs through the tournament and gave up just 1 run today.
So Johnston leads it off for Portage, so it looks like we're going to have a lot of activity here. Early in the ball game, we can see the delivery here of Eric Pateman.
Little off-speed pitch, and Johnston slams it into the left field and sits at first base.
Did a very good job going with the pitch and sits at first, and Cam Croy is up. He had a couple of RBIs in the tournament, but had 5 hits, and that's good. He's the center fielder for Portage, and he looks inside, takes a rip at it, goes down first baseline, foul. And Cam, 4 for 10 during the tournament. The semifinal today was 1 for 3. Had a couple of stolen bases in their win over the Atlantic region.
6-1 today over Newcastle, New Brunswick. Newcastle were the bronze medal winners. They actually, the Atlantic region, the defending champions of these Canadian Midget Baseball Championships.
Yes, they had a bad first inning against Manitoba, and the A's really made them pay for it. They scored 3 times, never looked back, and won this morning's game by a score of 6-1. So Croy at the plate. Johnston led the game off here for the A's with that sharp single to left field. Eric Pateman is in the hole here. He's going to try to keep Johnston close. This first inning is very important for the A's. They have to answer back from what Richmond did in the top of the inning. So often you see it. If you can answer back, you can get right back in the ball game and make the other team think a little bit.
There's going to be that certain amount of nervousness as well with these fellows getting out on the field and getting to this championship final.
Good pitch there by Pateman. 0-2 now is the count on Croy. Here's the third pitch, and inside, and again Croy takes a rip at it. It's going to be a base hit to right field, and we have men at first and second, not away. So Croy on an 0-2 pitch goes with it and hammers it to right field, where Alan Attridge picked it up on a bounce. And going on to second base, there is Chris Johnston.
And Attridge keeping Johnston from advancing to third with a quick throw into second base.
Well, Saskatoon hockey fans should recognize this next guy. It's Shane Calder. He, of course, plays with the Saskatoon Blades of the Western Hockey League in the wintertime. In the summer, he comes back home and plays baseball, and here he is in a key situation. Foul ball jammed him inside. Good pitch by Pateman. Calder tried to get out of the way and couldn't.
Jammed him is right. He put that right up on his knuckles. I'm curious to see how Pateman will get out of this jam. As we talked about, we watched Travis Blaine struggle in that first half of the inning, but got a couple of flyouts, and now it's Pateman's turn.
Calder 3 for 8 in the tournament, 0 for 4 in the semis this morning, and he steps in 0 and 1, and that's high. It's 1 and 1. So Pateman wastes a pitch there on Calder. Shane's dad, Bob, is the head coach here at Portage, and I think for Shane, who spends all winter away from home, it must be rather nice to come back home in the summer and play some baseball.
That's interesting too, because the Blades are practicing just across the way from Cairns Field here in Saskatoon.
That's right. Their rookie camp is underway. Main camp gets under next week, and Shane will be there for his second year in the Western Hockey League. So Shane Calder at the plate, 2 balls and a strike. Johnston at second, Croy at first base, none away. That's a little high. And Calder takes a walk around the bases, the home plate anyways. You don't see that very often on a batter. He must have thought that was very, very close. It's 3 and 1 regardless. 3 and 1 the count, and caught the outside corner. Nice pitch. Pateman needed that. They were just waiting for the call from home plate umpire Howard Cross. Well, would you run the guys, Bill? 3 and 2 outside. Ball 4.
Yeah, ball 4, but no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
Well, we have the bases loaded, nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. Portage down 2-0, and they can get back into the game now. Their bases are juiced. Johnston at third, Croy at second, and Calder with a base on ball. Moves down. Let's see. It goes inside and low. Calder, very, very good eye. Takes the pitch and goes down to first. And brings up Kelly Funk, the designated hitter. He is due to break away. 3 hits. You can see there. 2 runs scored. He is due to break out of it.
Manager Larry Cochran out to the mound to talk to Pateman to settle him down and take a look at things. Now there's a chance that he could bring in someone else, but I don't think he wants to do that at this point. We talked about the fact that Pateman did pitch a couple of days ago in the opener against Ontario, but says he has plenty of stuff left for today's game. I think it's just a matter of going out and settling everyone down.
Right, Pateman pitched very well against Ontario. 7 shutout innings, and in the 8th, the extra inning, he got into trouble and lost the ball game 1-0. But this is the guy they want to see do a good job for him, Eric Pateman. His first pitch is right in there for a strike to Kelly Funk. Bases are juiced, none away. We have a 2-0 ball game for the Richmond Yankees of British Columbia against the Portage A's from Manitoba. The final game, little curveball outside.
A couple of curveballs in a row. First one was a nice slow curve that caught the plate. The second one stayed outside.
Wonder what Larry talked about, maybe using the curve to set up the fastball. And here's another one, and that is going foul to right field. We can see first baseman has a chance for it. No, it goes out of play. First baseman Chris Randall had no play as it went out of.
Very little wind here today, Kevin. A very calm day, which hasn't happened in this tournament. For the most part, there's been some windy days here at Cairns Field. Today, very little wind. The flags in right center field are just barely blowing.
Well, the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to the cleanup hitter, the designated hitter, Kelly Funk. Here comes the pitch. And it's hit to second base. Adam DeBray goes through him. For an error, goes out to center field. Cooper will pick it up. We have 1 run in, and they're going to be safe at third base. Good base running by Shane Calder, who went from first to third. Chris Johnston came home, and Cam Croy came home, and we have a tie ball game at 2, Bill.
They've awarded him a single, Kevin. That was a bad bounce. If we get a chance to look on the replay, there's the first run scoring, Chris Johnston, and then in comes Cam Croy.
Right behind,
but, it was a bad bounce as far as second base was concerned, as Adam DeBray had the ball, and they just simply scooted over top of his glove. And they give a base hit to Kelly Funk, who drives in a pair of runs to tie the game at 2-2.
So we have men at first and third. Calder at third, Funk at first, and Drew McCrae, the right fielder, is up. He takes a swing for a strike. McCrae had a pretty good tournament, 2 for 9, 2 for 4 in the semifinals. There you can see, look at the 5 hits, 4 runs scored. So he can get the job done, Drew, and he had 3 stolen bases, scored 4 times. Runner going from first to second to throw down, and it's cut off by the shortstop, Steve Doherty. They were waiting for Shane Calder to do something. Shane stood his ground, and that's a stolen base by Kelly Funk.
Ostapovich took a little bit off that throw as he sent it down to second base. As you mentioned, they were aware that Calder might try and steal home.
Pitch inside, and he takes a rip at it. 1 and 2 to Drew McRae. None away.
Expos like to do that, right? The double steal, the late steal. You take second, I'll take home.
That's right. The Portage A's have come back and answered Richmond here in the first inning. Bottom of the first, Canadian Midget Baseball Championship. We're tied at 2. McRae on the 1 and 2 count. Outside corner. And the umpire, Howard Cross, calls him out. Our first strikeout of the ball game as McRae is caught looking. And that is a big out for Eric Pateman. Boy, did he need that.
Here comes the payoff pitch from Eric Pateman, and catches the corner, as you mentioned. You know, that runner being able to steal second, it's a good play because a base hit now could possibly score 2 runs. So if you move that second base runner into position.
Tony Rogerson up now for the A's, and he looks at a called strike. Tony had a tough tournament, 0 for 10. Broke out of his slump, though. Bill 2 for 4 in today's semifinal victory over Atlantic Region. Strike 2, so we can see Eric Pateman getting a little confidence as he's ahead 0-2 now on the left fielder for Portage, Rogerson. He had 5 strikeouts in the tournament, so he's a suspect to be on the K's, and he goes outside there. 1 and 2, Eric Pateman to Tony Rogerson. 2-all tie, Portage and Richmond. 1 away here in the bottom of the first inning. Bateman looking to get out of the jam here. Again, he goes to the outside, doesn't get the call, so we are even at 2-2.
Cross has been calling those pitches on the corner, so I think that's why Pateman has been trying to hit that location. Now he's finds himself with a 2-2 count.
Needs outside corner again, and there's a fly ball to Andrew Cochran in left field. Makes the catch, tagging up at third, coming home to score without a play, and he's there. Is Shane Calder. So a sac fly for Tony Rogerson, and Portage has grabbed a 3-2 lead.
High off-speed pitch here, and Rogerson simply just waits on the ball and sends it deep to left field. There's the third run. Shane Calder coming in to score for Manitoba. Take the 3-2 lead with 2 away and runner still at second base.
Boy, we have some scoring, Bill. We didn't think we were going to have that much scoring, but
so much for my prediction.
Jason Pilkington, the first baseman, up now, and he gives that a ride to left. It's going to drop in front of Andrew Cochran. And coming in, he's going to be stopped there at third.
Thought we were going to have a play at the plate. I thought we were going to have a play at the plate, but Cochran was quick to get the ball in.
And Kelly Funk puts on the brakes.
There's the base hit as he tagged it well. He plays it right off the first hop, hits the relay man. And as you mentioned, Kelly Funk had thoughts of going home, but quickly pulled up at third.
Andrew Cochran is also a pitcher, so we may see him in this ball game, depending what Eric Pateman does here in the first inning, because it's already 3-2. Manitoba's answered here with 3 runs. Cliff McCartney, the third baseman, is up. Cliff looking for an RBI situation here. Slow curve outside. Ball 1. McCartney 1 and 4 during the tournament. 0 for 4 in the semifinal game this morning. Good third baseman though. Has runners at the corners. Takes a cut, goes in between second and third. RBI for Cliff McCartney. And that scores Kelly Funk on the play. And Portage has answered with 4 straight runs at the bottom of the first inning.
Well, we talked about the fact that Eric Pateman could change speeds, but whatever speed he's throwing, Manitoba, the Portage team is right on the money. And then again, another base hit into left field where most of the balls have gone in this half of the inning for Portage.
Yeah, I don't think there's any secret up there, Bill. They're waiting on that slow stuff, and they're just pulling it right straight through shortstop and third, and they've done the job. The last 3 hitters in particular, and this is our 9th batter in the first inning. Sid Coop is coming up. He has an RBI in the tournament, and he's looking for his first hit of the tournament, so he had to have a sacrifice. He's 0 for 7 on the tournament. The catcher, Sid Coop, here for Portage. He looks at a ball 1.
He was another pickup as well, Kevin, because of the fact that Portage's regular catcher is in Europe right now.
At second, Jason Pilkington and Cliff McCartney at first. Pilkington, rather, at second base. All time. McCartney at first, runners at first and second. 2 away, Portage leading Richmond now by a score of 4-2. 4 runs off Eric Pateman here in the bottom of the first inning. Sid Coop, the catcher, up. That's high, ball 2. I am very impressed with Portage, the way they have fought back here in the bottom of the first inning. It is not easy after giving up 2 runs in the top of the inning to Richmond, who everyone thought anyways was superior and defensively and didn't give up many runs during the tournament. They've answered with 4 here in the bottom. There's a strike.
And you wonder what's going through the thoughts of the Richmond Yankees, considering the fact that Bateman is regarded as one of their better pitchers. There's a look at some of that off-speed stuff that Bateman is throwing,
Right,
and there's another one where he just got around just a bit too quickly on that. But again, they seem to be waiting on their pitch and driving it into left field.
Obviously,
in that case, Coop just a little over anxious.
That's right. Obviously, Bill, they have scouted Bateman during the tournament, watched him against Ontario, because they're just waiting on that slow stuff, and when it comes in there, it just looks like a balloon to some of these hitters. Pilkington had a nice base hit. McCartney had a nice base hit. They've had a big first inning here. Sid Coop, the 9th man to bat here in the inning, and he nearly went after it, held up wisely. We have a count of 3-2. How do you send your guys? Pilkington at second, McCartney at first.
Oh, yeah, 2 outs.
Yeah, they got to go.
They'll be going. Start your runners.
Start the engine. Sid Coop, catcher for Portage, is in there and takes a rip at that one, goes to center field where Brad Cooper is there and makes the play. And we've had a long first inning. A very profitable one for Portage, as they have come up with 4 runs to take the lead. 4-2 after the first inning. You're watching the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship live from Cairns Field in Saskatoon.
For the Prairie Athletics in the bottom of the first inning, there were 4 runs on 5 hits. There were no errors, 2 men left. After 1 complete inning, Manitoba 4, British Columbia 2. Coming to bat for British Columbia in the top of the second inning, right fielder Alan Atridge, catcher Chad Ostapovich, and third baseman John Saltel. Ladies and gentlemen, the sporting fraternity of Saskatoon, and indeed the entire community of Saskatoon, were saddened by the tragic death a few weeks ago of a promising young athlete. To commemorate the memory of this athlete, a special evening has been planned.
Welcome back to our final, the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship. After 1 inning of play, you can see there 4-2 Manitoba leading BC. 8 hits in the ball game, 3 by Richmond as they scored 2 runs off that, and Portage had a big first inning with 5 hits to take the 4-2 lead.
Kelly Funk coming through with the bases loaded single to score a pair of runs in that bottom half of the first for Portage. And they later added RBIs from Tony Rogerson with a sacrifice fly, and then Cliff McCartney with an RBI single as well. So 4 runs on 5 hits in that opening inning of play, and 8 hits, as you mentioned already. I don't think I would have predicted that.
No, each game through the tournament they'd allow 3 or 4, and that was about it. Eric Bateman looks like he will go to the next inning, as BC is not warming anyone up, so Bateman will come out for the second inning. Nice pitch by Travis Blaine as he starts off the second inning with a strike on Alan Attridge, the right fielder. There's Alan, 2 for 6 during the tournament. He's really an infielder, but because circumstances, they were so strong in the infield, they moved him to right field.
Well, they've done that with a few players in this, on this BC team, and there's a base hit to the right side of the infield, and Attridge is on base. Attridge, DeBray, Doherty are all good infielders. They all can play the shortstop position, but Doherty is the man who will start at that spot.
And they're going to give Attridge a base hit. Jason Pilkington, the first baseman, had a shot at it and went underneath his glove, and Attridge leads off the top of the second inning here for BC with a base hit. So the catcher.
We'll look for the sacrifice.
Chad Ostapovich, 1 for 6 during the tournament, no RBIs, 2 bases on balls though. 0 for 2 in the semifinal game this morning, in which Richmond defeated Alberta, and there's the sack, beautifully laid down. Blaine will pick it up over to first, and they get Ostapovich, but Attridge moves on to second base, and you called it, Bill, the old sacrifice. Beautifully laid down by the catcher.
One thing I've noticed about Larry Cochran's team is that they get the fundamentals down pretty well. They move the runner over, they put him in scoring position. They do all that is necessary to give yourself a chance at scoring runs.
Yeah, it's far too early to panic. You're down 2 runs, 4-2 as Portage had the big inning, but you can't panic. And John Sautel here will be the batter for Richmond, the third baseman. He's looking for his first hit of the tournament. And he will bat left-handed against the lefty. That's outside. A little bit of jockeying, Bill. Alan Attridge at second base, and the shortstop, Shane Calder. Calder faking a move to second to try to keep Attridge a little close, I would think, a lot closer than he had a big lead there. We'll see if Travis Blaine can keep him a little closer. It's a lot better. And he pulls that down first baseline, and Pilkington is there. He'll take the play himself. And there's 2 away, but Attridge moves to third on the play with 2 away.
And there again, being able to put the ball in play on the right side of the infield so you can move that runner up a base. And granted, there are 2 out, but at least you move the runner on to third, and his base hit will score Attridge easily.
1 for 1. Steve Doherty, 385 average, 1 for 1 today. Very good point. John Sautel did a nice job. If you're going to go out, get that runner 90 feet closer. And he is. He's on third base. Up high from Travis Blaine on Steve Doherty. Doherty, the shortstop, scored the first run of the ball game. He led the game off with a base hit. Has a chance here for an RBI. 4-2 Portage. They lead Richmond here in the second inning. And he rips out to center field. Coming over quickly is Cam Croy. He dives, and he's got it. Beautiful catch by Cam Croy. Just a great effort out there in center field. The second base umpire ran out there very quickly. Brian Jensen was there, and look at that, Bill. Just a great catch.
Great catch for the center fielder, and that saved a run. We talked about the defense of the Richmond Yankees, and there we have to tip our cap to Portage's Cam Croy, who made the dive and stop out in center field, and keeps the score at 4-3.
4-2. We'll return with more midget baseball live from Cairns Field in Saskatoon.
Curtis Johnson, center fielder Cam Croy, and the shortstop Shane Calder. The tournament committee for the Canadian Midget Baseball Championships would like to express their appreciation to some major sponsors who have contributed immeasurably to the success of this tournament. Beverage Central, Coca-Cola, SGI, Saskatchewan Government Insurance, the Toronto Blue Jays, Burns, the official sponsor, Riviera Hotel, our host hotel, and the Saskatchewan Baseball Association. Also a number of other sponsors, Hostess Frito-Lay, Sasktel, Saskatoon Co-op, CSP Foods Limited.
You want to take it, Kevin?
And Brothers to
You want to take it?
Kevin Waugh and Bill O'Donovan back here at Cairns Field. Here's the play that ended the top of the second inning. Watch the catch here by center fielder Cam Croy. Look at that. Outstretched, makes a beautiful catch. The umpire is right there to call it, and that is the play so far of the day. Great play.
We were out here watching some of the ball games yesterday, and a similar situation. A ball game yesterday where the center fielder wasn't able to make the catch, and that resulted in 3 runs scoring. And that's what makes all the difference, whether or not someone can get through. In yesterday's game, Ontario was taking on the Regina team, and the Regina center fielder, Ken McClintock, tried to make the play, and Neville Clayton came up with the only home run so far in this tournament.
Well, Eric Pateman for Richmond is back out in the mound for the second inning, and he's over with that one, but 2 balls and a strike now to the leadoff guy, Chris Johnston. He's 1-1 on the day, led off the game with the sharp single and scored the first run for Portage as they lead 4-2 here in the bottom of the second inning. Oh, he gave him the outside corner on that. You need that pitch. 2-2. Howard Cross of Moose Jaw, the home plate umpire. Pateman needed that call. After being down 2 balls and no strikes, he has fought back to even the count. And this one goes sharply to left field. Andrew Cochran, a long run. Too long for Andrew. He gave it a big chase, though, and a nice try. That's the key. If you can go off field like that, you can get yourself a double pretty easily.
It's a big ballpark, Cairns Field. 335 down the lines, 365 to the power alleys, and 400 to center field. So, as you mentioned, there's only been one home run in this tournament. That was an inside the park job. We haven't seen anyone even get close to the warning track. At least I haven't seen anyone even that far yet.
There's Johnson, looks outside, and that will be full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Eric Pateman to the leadoff man, the bottom of the second inning for Portage, Chris Johnson. Johnson takes a cut, stays alive, follows it off. Johnson really wasn't doing that well during the tournament. What he was doing is getting on base and scoring some runs, and he proved that today. Led off the bottom of the first inning for him with that single and came in. Payoff pitch way outside, and he's going to take a walk. So Pateman continues to struggle. That's his second base on balls here in an inning.
Base on balls for Chris Johnson.
Well, we'll see. Johnson, he might have some speed. Cam Croy, who made that beautiful catch to end the top of the second, is now up for Manitoba. And you saw he can bunt. You saw that in the first inning. There's his average. 385, 1 for 1 today with that bunt.
Richmond manager Larry Cochran now out to talk with starting pitcher Eric Pateman and his catcher Chet Ostapovich.
Well, I'm sure Larry is not happy what he has seen so far today from Eric Pateman. He expected Eric, who was so sharp against Ontario, to be razor sharp against Manitoba in the championship game, but Eric has struggled. He was given a 2-0 lead in the top of the first inning, but the Portage Jays have come back and they scored 4 runs on 5 hits in the bottom of the first inning, and they lead now 4-2 and have a man already on base here to start the second inning. Cam Croy, a pop-up. Pateman's going to take it himself. You can see that so often in midget ball. The pitchers are probably the best athlete on the ball club.
And they usually will make the plays themselves. But also, I am a little bit surprised that in some situations with these two teams that neither team, or both teams are going with the designated hitter. Their pitchers are not hitting. Some of the other clubs don't hesitate to put their pitchers into the lineup and have them wielding the bat. And as you mentioned, a lot of times they're sometimes the most dangerous hitter and the best athlete.
That's right. Croker is a designated hitter for Richmond and Funk for Portage. Up now is Shane Calder. Chris Johnston remains at first base. 1 away. Calder was walked to load the bases in the first inning. He came in to score the 3rd run of the ball game. And a move over to first, trying to get Johnston, and a good play by Chris Randall to keep the ball from advancing the runner. Pateman in the position, goes inside and gets the call. So he's ahead. That's the key in pitching, of course. Get ahead, then you can fool around on the corners, and he's ahead here 0-1 to Shane Calder. Shane, the shortstop of Portage, takes a rip at that, 0-2. Well, maybe Pateman's coming around a little bit here in the bottom of the second inning.
High fastball that had Calder chasing out of the strike zone.
Well, he saw a visit from his manager for the second time already this afternoon, Larry Cochran. Here's the 3rd pitch, and that is going deep to center field. Brad Cooper has to go back, and he misses it. Could have went off his glove anyways. Chris Johnston is circling the bases. He's going to stop at 3rd. They're going to wave him home. We could have a play. No, he's going to 3rd with it. Johnston scores, and Calder is coming in, and he will score the 6th run for Manitoba.
Well, Cooper went back and seemed to have it. Looked to me as if he was going to take it out of the air, and it simply flew past him and over his glove. And then by the time he picked up the ball on the wall, it was relayed in. There was an overthrow. There was an error in that play. They tried to get the runner at 3rd. There was no play at the plate, but the runner, Shane Calder, was able to come all the way home. This is a look at Chris Johnson coming home on the play. No play at the plate. Later, Calder went to 3rd and then came home on the throwing error. And they've given Calder a triple, and he scores on the error as they tried to, 3rd baseman wasn't able to make the catch.
Well, that was a big inning as Manitoba, Portage Jays now, scored 2 runs here in the second inning. and they have grabbed a 6-2 lead over Richmond. We'll be back with more from the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship in Saskatoon.
A pitching change for British Columbia. Now pitching to number 12, Benji Federici.
What did they call that? What did they call that, an error?
Triple on an error.
The batter is the designated hitter, Kelly Buck.
We're back at the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship. We've had a pitching change here for British Columbia, and a ground ball to the first baseman, Chris Randall, who will take it himself for out number 2. The pitching change, Eric Pateman just didn't have it today, Bill, and Larry had to make the change quickly, and he has gone to Ben Federici.
Ben Federici is the man of the hour at this point for the Richmond Yankees. He's pitched just 2 innings, but has a victory. He's 1-0 on the year, 1-0 on the tournament. 1 strikeout, no earned runs allowed. And talking to Larry today, he says this is the coolest man on the squad. Nice overhand curveball.
That's right, Drew McRae up now. 2 away. Kelly Funk grounding to the third baseman for the second out. 6-2 is the score, and there's a pitch outside on Drew McRae. McRae struck out in the first inning. So it was just, Eric Pateman just didn't have it here this afternoon, giving up 4 in the first inning and 2 more in the second. Nice bender. It's over for the strike, 1-2 on McRae. But the other thing, Shane Calder really hit that ball. That was a well-hit ball that Brad Cooper just couldn't get a hold of.
It may have carried a bit on Cooper. He may not have realized just how far that ball was going. As he was going back, simply couldn't pick it up.
A solid base hit by Drew McRae right up the middle, and that's the first base hit given up by Federici. Well, McRae really was on this one, Bill.
Another breaking pitch, and he just zapped it. As you see, he stays with the pitch. He actually lunged at that one, stayed with the pitch though, and sent it up the middle into center field.
Rogerson, Tony Rogerson up now with an average of 143. Sacked fly to drive in one of the runs for Portage in the first inning. He's up with a man on first base, 2 away, and looks outside at ball 1. Federici into the ball game for the Richmond Yankees. 6-2, Manitoba leading. We're in the bottom of the second inning in the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship. Rogerson has an opportunity here to help his ball club. There's a chopper to John Sawtell, a long throw to first. Chris Randall is there, and the side has been retired, but more damage by the Portage Jays, and they've come up with 2 more runs, and they lead this ball game now by a score of 6-2. Here's the replay once again with John Sawtell, an easy throw and a nice play to first base.
Gets him easily at first, and BC now has to see if they can come back out of this situation where they're down by 4.
All right, we're standing by with trivia with Manitoba leading BC by a score of 6-2.
And now the Sands Motor Inn trivia question. Answer correctly and you could win one of these complete sets of 1991 Topps baseball cards. And a weekend stay for 2 at the Sands Motor Inn. Now our trivia question. Who hit the first home run for the Blue Jays at the Sky Dome on June 5th, 1989? If you know the answer, call us now at 652-1471. If you're calling from outside of Saskatoon, please call collect. Good luck.
Yes, we'll have trivia throughout the afternoon on Saskatchewan television. The score is 6-2. We'll be back with the answer to that question as we head now to the top of the third inning.
Good for you. I said good for you. Where's Jay Boyd? Where's that Jay Boyd? Where's he hiding? Where's Jay? Where's Jay?
That was a better inning.
Leading off for
That was a better inning for us.
Oh, yeah. We're like Eric Payton. We need to get warmed up.
Welcome back to Cairns Field, top of the third inning. Brad Cooper leading it off here for Richmond, and he takes the swing and count is 1-1. Travis Blaine is starting to settle down, get into a little mode here for the Portage Jays. After a rough first inning, he has come through. He gave up 2 runs on 3 hits in the first inning and gave up a hit last inning. And the big left-hander comes in there with that one, 1-2. So he's ahead on the count to Brad Cooper, the center fielder for Richmond. Cooper 3 for 9 for the tournament. You see his average, good one, 364. He's 1 for 1 today, and he scored their second run of the ball game. Takes that to center field. Cam Croy is there, and he parks under it for the first out. And there's one away here for Richmond in the top of the first inning.
The line, Kevin, on Eric Payton, who started for Richmond. He was taken out of the second inning. He went an inning and a third, gave up 6 hits, 6 runs. Only 5 of those runs were earned. Struck out 1 and walked 2 batters.
Second baseman Adam DeBray up, 231. He's looking for his first hit of the ball game. Sacrifice bunt in the first inning. It was a beautiful bunt, moving the runners into scoring position. That was a key play in the bottom of the top of the first for Richmond because both guys came in to score, Cooper and Doherty. DeBray did a nice job. Little inside, 1-1. Travis Blaine and Sid Coop, the battery here for Manitoba.
They're going to have to go away and maybe a bit from their plays of moving the runners up. They're going to need a couple of base hits here and some extra base hits to get themselves back in the ball game.
2-1. Yeah, BC, they lost to Ontario in 8 innings, 1-0. They beat Manitoba 3-0 in the round robin, then hammered Saskatchewan champion Regina 11-1. So they have the bats as proven against the Regina Orioles. They beat them 11-1, so they can get back into this ball game. They're down by 4 here. Swing and a miss by Adam DeBray, got a piece of it. Sid Coop has done a pretty nice job behind the plate with Travis Blaine. Mentioned before on Travis Blaine, and there's the play. Just a foul tip with Coop behind the plate. Mentioned before, I just thought that Bob Calder worked his pitching staff to perfection, Bill. Blaine only saw 2 innings during the round robin. He pitched 1 against Saskatchewan, 1 against Ontario, saved him for the big game, and he's come through here.
In a tournament like this where you're playing a game every day, and in situations like today where you're playing 2 games in the same day, you have to have a healthy and a plentiful pitching staff to get you through the tournament.
Shane Calder making the play, the shortstop for Portage, over to Jason Pilkington for the second out of the ball game. The third inning for Richmond. 2 away. Chris Randall will step in. He also had a bunt in that wild top of the first inning when they laid down 3 straight bunts to score 2 runs.
Actually, a bunt single.
That's right.
To drive in a run.
1 for 1 today. Yes, that's right. He had an RBI on that. Chris, the big first baseman, batting cleanup in the order for Richmond. 2 away here, top of the third inning. Interesting trivia question there we had during the break, and here's a pop-up, see if it stays in play. Coop dives at it and just couldn't reach it. But what an effort by Sid Coop, the catcher.
Nice effort by Sid Coop. Just a little bit too far. If he had 6-foot arms, he might have been able to pick that one up, but Manitoba showing lots of hustle today. Cam Croy with a nice catch out in center field.
Yeah, it helps when you're up 6-2. You know you can win a Canadian championship. Nothing new for this team from Portage. We'll talk about that in a minute. A couple of years ago, they had a very successful time. Here's Randall stepping in on the 0-1 count, and he looks high and outside. It's 1-1. Bill?
Well, 2 years ago, Bob Calder coached many of these players that are out here today to the Western Canadian Bantam baseball title, and he stayed with the same group of boys, and they're now here at the Canadian Midget Baseball Championships. They are, by the way, Western Canadian Midget champions now because of the fact that they won their game today and the fact that Alberta was beaten today into the semifinal round.
Well, there's a pop-up, and the pitcher, Travis Blaine, takes it himself to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning as he gets Cooper, DeBray, and Randall just like that. And it remains 6-2 for Manitoba. Portage leading BC champions from Richmond. Live from Cairns Field in Saskatoon, you're watching the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship.
Coming to bat for Manitoba in the bottom of the third inning.
I might as well keep going if I'm talking and there's something happening. Yeah.
And the catcher, Sid Coop.
Where do we give the answer? Oh.
Be sure to visit the Outlaw session. Get all your refreshments.
Oh, yeah. George, do we have a winner?
Oh, someone's watching.
Okay, so don't mention it right away then.
Leading off for Manitoba at the bottom of the third inning.
Welcome back to Cairns Field, everyone. I'm Kevin Waugh with Bill O'Donovan and Jay Boyd as the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship winds down here in Saskatoon. Manitoba leading BC in the final game by a score of 6-2. We're in the bottom of the third inning. The Portage have done the job against Richmond. They've scored 4 runs in the first inning, added 2 more in the second, and have knocked out starting pitcher Eric Pateman. Jason Pilkington, the first baseman, is up. And he looks at a second strike. A 1-1 call. That was a ball outside. Sorry, Bill, looking at the scoreboard there.
Pilkington is 1 for 1 today, as you mentioned, Kevin, with a base hit in that first inning of play.
There's a grounder to Steve Doherty, the shortstop. Long throw, nice play. Chris Randall there at first, and we have 1 away.
Ben Federici coming in relief of Eric Pateman, the starting pitcher, but there's Federici, who has looked pretty solid since coming in, facing 4 batters, retiring 3 of those 4. Cliff McCartney now the batter, third baseman. An RBI single in the opening inning of play.
Okay, there's Cliff. We had the trivia question. We should go through that once again. Who hit the first home run for the Blue Jays at the Sky Dome, June 5th, 1989? That's when it opened.
Former current San Diego Padre.
That's right. There's a pitch in there for a called strike. Who do you think it is? The answer is the big Fred McGriff. And our 5th caller was from Saskatoon, and we'd like to congratulate Bernie Thorson from Saskatoon. He is the lucky winner of those baseball cards. Nice play there by Portage as he goes 5-3. John Sautel making the play. 2 away here in the bottom of the third inning.
Federici has certainly settled down on the mound, and there you see McCartney called out at first base on the ground ball. He's 4 ground ball outs, so he's a low ball reliever, I was told by Larry Cochran, and he's certainly getting those ground ball outs to help out his ball club.
There's Sid Coop 0 for 1 today. He had a fly ball to end the first inning. He went deep to Brad Cooper at center field. Sid Coop, the catcher, right-handed bat, goes down third base line, foul. Yeah, Federici, that's his job now. You're right, Bill, for BC. Try to keep them in the ball game. They're 4 runs down. They play 7 innings, and if the score's tied, then they go to the extra innings. But they play 7 innings if midget ball, and his job is simply to keep the Yankees in this ball game. No more runs.
Exactly. His job is to come in and prevent Portage from scoring anymore, and hopefully the Richmond bats, as far as Federici is concerned, his ball club will get some hits and get some runs.
Counts 1-1. He goes outside, doesn't get the corner, so it's 2 balls and a strike. The Portage's catcher, Sid Coop. Well, Richmond, they finished second in their All-Star League with a record of 10-2. Lost to North Delta in the provincial, or actually beat North Delta in the provincial final.
North Delta had finished first in the All-Star League in which they play in.
Yeah, that's right.
beat North Delta by a score of 9-7. That was just last Sunday, and Larry Cochran says his ball club was a little bit tired, but they played pretty well other than this bad start against Portage.
Count 2-2, and there's a sharp single to right field, dropping in front of Alan Attridge. And Sid Coop has his first hit of the tournament. I'll tell you what, that comes at a nice time for Portage, as he is the 9th batter in the lineup for the A's, and we go to the top of the order for Chris Johnston. So for Sid Coop, what a relief getting a base hit.
Chris Johnston has been hot, 1 for 1 with a walk and a single. He scored a pair of runs.
I don't think Sid will be a threat on the base pass with 2 away. Catcher. There's Johnston's average, 182 during the tournament. Looks inside for a strike. Well, in the semifinal game earlier, he was 1 for 3. Here he's 1 for 1. Bases on ball, but he has scored 2 runs, and you've got to score runs when you're the leadoff batter, and he is here for Portage, and he holds up his hand. Very astute batter, Chris Johnston, telling Sid Coop that the ball's in play and just hold your base.
Johnston's one of 4 Brandon players on this Portage team. Of course, teams coming to this tournament can't pick up other players to fill out their roster.
Oh, there's a nice hit to left field, bouncing in front of Andrew Cochran, so we have runners at first and second. So Johnston goes 2 for 2. He's been on base 3 times.
Just a matter for Chris Johnston of simply going with the pitch, Kevin, and sending it into left field and moving the runner up.
Yeah, it was nothing special about that. Just waited on the pitch and sent it out to left field. Andrew Cochran just took it on the 1 hop, and Sid Coop is at second base, and Johnston's at first. We have 2 away, and Cam Croy is up. Cam has scored a run here this afternoon.
And come up with a fine defensive play in the second inning to prevent the Richmond club from adding to their total of runs.
Boy, did he ever. Takes that one inside and rips her down first base line. Dennis DeBray is the first base coach for Richmond. And for Portage, first base is Bill Calder. Bill is the brother of the head coach, Bob. Neil Andrews is at third. And there's a look at Bill Calder there talking with his first base runner, Chris Johnson. Cam Coy up. 1 for 2 in this ball game. Now, position to drive in a run is Portage is up already. 6-2 are in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Struck for 4 in the first and 2 more in the bottom. Asks for time and gets it from home plate umpire Howard Cross.
Richmond is playing Croy to pull the ball. Their center fielder has moved into the gap, right center.
Lead runner there, and their pitcher is number 5. That's the catcher, Sid Coop, on second base. And he goes with the pitch, and it gets by John Sautel to left field, and that will load the bases. Nice play by Andrew Cochran, the left fielder, to come in quickly for the ball and then run the ball in. That is what you're taught in baseball. Just run that ball in and make sure that nobody moves.
You'll watch as Croy just simply stays with the pitch and doesn't mind, again, as we mentioned, just going to the opposite way and putting into left field. Cochran on the ball quickly to prevent Coop at all from trying to reach home.
Well, I hate to say this, but I think this is the ball game with Shane Calder up. Today he's 1 for 1, 250 average. He has a base on ball.
And a triple.
That's right. I mean, that last, he really hit the ball very well off Bateman. He went deep to Brad Cooper, who couldn't track it down in deep center. And this is the ball game with everybody on base here. We have Coop at third, Johnston at second, Croy at first, Shane Calder up, 2 away. Bottom of the 3rd inning here for Portage, and looks at one just a little high, so it's 2 balls and no strike. Federici needed that pitch.
He's falling behind the count, and of course that's in Calder's favor now, and as we've seen, Calder has some power.
Yes, second inning, it was a triple that drove in a run, and looks inside on that one, 3-0, so really Calder has a great eye. Just looking for his pitch, and you can do that when you're up on the count 2-0.
I'm sure he's going to get the green light here.
Yes, he's the 3rd batter in the order, so he...
Up 6-2, I don't think you'd be squeezing in runs, would you, Kevin?
Go for it. 2 away. 3-0, no one to put it, so he's got to come straight down with this, and there it is, 3-1, nice call. Federici had to come in with that, and he's got to come in right down the middle, I would think, with the fastball on this one. Calder in a pretty good position for a batter at 3-1. Takes a cut at that, goes to right field. Alan Attridge is there and makes the play for the out. Nice play by Attridge. Well, they get a couple of hits out of the inning, 3 to be exact, but they don't give up any runs, and that's the key, and it remains 6-2 after 3 innings of play for Manitoba. We'll be back with more midget baseball in just a minute.
For Manitoba, in the bottom of the third inning, no runs.
Bottom of the third.
3 hits. There were
Top
no
of 4.
errors. 3 men left. After 3
You want to do that stuff?
Manitoba
Standings?
6,
Want to explain?
Columbia 2.
Should I ask him about that?
What's that?
Explain those standings?
Oh, yeah. I think you should.
Be sure to pick up your tickets on the championship raffle.
George, you want me to go through those standings again to explain how these teams got here and what happened in the round robin?
There's some beautiful prizes to be awarded. Tickets will close down at the end of the 5th inning. The draw will be made during the 6th
You wanted to wait for a slow spot or a pitching change to do that? Sure, that's fine. No problem.
What have you got? These stamps when they come in, they're up to date, typically the average. Okay. Welcome back to Cairns Field. Kevin Waugh, Bill O'Donovan, 6-2 Manitoba over BC. We're in the top of the 4th inning, and for Richmond Yankees, they have to get going. They're down by 4, and they need the meat of the order with Andrew Cochran, the left fielder, up. Had a sacrifice fly in the first inning. It scored 1 run. His average was .455 during the tournament. He's 1 for 1 today. And Cochran has to start the old rally here in the 4th inning if they want to get back into this ball game against Travis Blaine, who has really settled down nicely now, Bill, and has found a groove.
Well, the left-handers pitched well, as you mentioned, Kevin. Other than that first inning, he just allowed 1 base runner since in the last 2 innings of play. And he's been tough.
Yeah, he's been everything that Bob Calder has asked for. Maybe a shaky first inning, got out of that. Gave up a hit in the second, and 1, 2, 3 in the third, and he's up here now with the strike call. He goes outside. Beautiful pitch.
There's that curveball we talked about, and again, as Bob mentioned to me, a lot of people use the curveball to set up the fastball. He uses the fastball actually is his secondary pitch. He likes the curveball. That's his payoff pitch.
0-2 against Andrew Cochran. It's in there right back to the pitcher. He falls, gets up, and then just throws over to Jason Pilkington, who is there for the first out in the top of the 4th inning. I might add that Andrew Cochran is the son of Larry Cochran. Larry is the head coach of Richmond.
And Andrew and many, talking to a few people here, many people feel that Andrew Cochran could be a shoo-in for the all-star position in left field. He's been very solid out there.
Jamie Coker, the designated hitter. 0 for 1 today. Down low.
Flew out to center field in the opening inning of play.
Travis Blaine, the left-hander on the mound for Portage. They're up 6-2 here in the top of the 4th inning. 1-1. You can see the confidence with Travis right now. He's in a groove. I think it really helped in that first inning where he got 4 runs.
Watch the rotation on this ball.
Yeah. Third baseman comes in and makes the play. Cliff McCartney. So Croker flies out to the third baseman for the second out here in the top of the 4th inning.
He's now retired 9 in a row, Kevin. 9 consecutive batters have gone down.
Croker pops up to McCartney.
Oh, after that shaky first inning, like I mentioned, I just think the bottom of the inning, the first inning was the key to this ball game right now. Bill, Manitoba were down 2-0, and they just came right back. And not only did they tie it up, they took the 4-2 lead and has settled their pitcher down. Travis Blaine goes high on Alan Attridge. Alan is 1 for 1 in this game. Had a base hit to start the second inning. The last hit, in fact, given up by Travis Blaine.
You know, it was interesting, Kevin, after the first inning, I took a look down at the Manitoba bullpen, and they had Kevin Bradshaw up throwing the ball, and there's no activity down there now.
All is quiet. 2 balls and no strikes to the batter, Alan Attridge. Two away here for Richmond. Top of the fourth inning. They're down 6-2 to Portage. The final game of the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship. That should be out of play. And it is. Don Cousins, the tournament director here in Saskatoon, very pleased with the crowd throughout the whole tournament. I think a lot of people came out later in the week, Friday, Saturday. They just saw some excellent ball. We talked about the pools, Bill, A and B. 6 out of the 8 teams here went 2-1.
Unfortunately for the two Saskatchewan teams, they finished winless in the tournament. Talking with the coach of the Saskatoon Senators, he felt that they very well could have picked up at least a victory, and it appeared yesterday that Regina was going to beat Ontario, and then Ontario came through with 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning to win by a score of 5-4.
Counts 2-2 now on Attridge. Travis Blaine goes for the pitch inside. He rips her down first base. Good job by Pilkington to block it. He'll make the play unassisted, but a good lesson for all you watching is Pilkington just got in front of the ball, knocked it down, picked it up, stepped on the base to retire the side. So another 1-2-3 inning for Travis Blaine as Manitoba and Portage leading Richmond by a score of 6-2 after 3.5. We'll be back with more on the Canadian Major Baseball Championship live from Cairns Field in Saskatoon.
British Columbia 2. Once again, the tournament committee would like to express their appreciation
How you feeling?
to the sponsors who have
That's what he said,
helped to
yeah.
make this tournament a magnificent success.
Well, we're into a goof.
Yeah, they got caught on that. They got caught on that replay. But,
SGI, we got that with government insurance.
wow, it was tough in that first inning.
Birds,
You know,
the official meat supplier, Riviera Hotel.
it's not like we're in the middle of our season or something like that. It's not like we're in the middle of our season. You know.
Saskatoon Baseball
That's the problem.
Yeah.
We're a hell of a lot better now.
Hostess
Oh, yeah.
Frito Lay, Saskatoon, Saskatoon Co-op, CSP Foods Limited, Dairy Producers, and Brothers to Restaurant.
Yes. Oh, I don't know.
Yep. Good afternoon, everyone. Kevin Waugh, Bill O'Donovan, and Jay Boyd back at Cairns Field. 6-2, Portage leading Richmond in the final of the Canadian Major Baseball Championship. You can see the line score there. Manitoba 4 in the first inning and added 2 more in the second. They lead here as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning with the designated hitter Kelly Funk up 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Singled in the first and scored, and grounded to the first baseman in the second inning. He's up here to lead things off for the Portage A's.
Well, Kevin, we talked about the last inning. Ben Federici with a big out. He got Shane Calder to fly out to right field, had the bases loaded. He had gotten the first 2 outs in the inning, and then gave up consecutive base hits to Sid Coop, Chris Johnson, and Cam Croy. And very well, the game was on the line, but got Shane Calder to fly out, and his ball club still in the game at 6-2.
0-1. The second pitch is in there for a strike. A good cut by Kelly Funk. And that's what Federici has to do, as we mentioned before, keep his team in the ball game. Don't allow any more runs. And he started this fourth inning off pretty well here with 0-2 count to Kelly Funk. And that's grounded sharply down first base line and foul. Well, Larry Cochran, the head coach of the Richmond Yankees, well known in that area. And for Larry, he's even played a little semi-pro ball.
Well, it was interesting talking to Larry, who's originally from Kennewick, Washington, Tri-Cities area. People will be familiar with the Tri-City American Hockey Club. Well, that's Kennewick, Washington. He was a member of the 1962 American Legion team, which won that regional and went on to play in the national championships. He's a counseling psychology professor. He's a professor teaches counseling psychology at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver.
There's a strikeout by Ben Federici on Kelly Funk. So we have one away. The bottom of the fourth inning. Here's the pitch. Looks for the outside corner, and Funk just had to reach for that. Great pitch by Federici.
He had Funk guessing on that one. That's Federici's first strikeout in the ballgame.
Drew McRae, 1 for 2 today, 385 average for the tournament. Struck out in the first, base hit in the second. Drew McRae, the right fielder for Portage.
Not very often you get university professors managing baseball clubs.
Isn't that the truth? And he has been great to deal with. We talked to him, Bill. You mentioned just after the semifinal game in which Richmond defeated Sherwood Park 2-1, and I mean, he just sat, talked about his team, and was very calm about it. Sure, the first inning ate him up a little bit here today, but yeah. 1-2 is the count on Drew McRae, the second batter here in the bottom of the fourth, as Portage leading by a score of 6-2 over Richmond. McRae has 3 stolen bases in the tournament, so he has speed when he gets on.
On the other hand, Bob Calder, manager of the Portage A's, I wanted to say the Portage Terriers, but indeed Bob Calder is also the coach of the Portage Terriers of the Manitoba Junior Hockey League. He's starting that position very shortly, would imagine, with the fact that we're almost to the beginning of September. So he'll go right from the baseball field to the hockey arena.
Right, Bob, in fact, didn't get here till later in the week because of work commitments and didn't see a couple of games that Manitoba was involved in. They beat Ontario in the round robin 4-1 and beat Saskatchewan 7-1, and then, like we said, lost yesterday morning in the opening game to BC by a score of 3-0. But he's here now managing the team, and they have a 6-2 lead. Well, there's McRae going to center field. Cooper is under it and can't get there. It should be a double. He's going for 3.
I think it might be an inside-the-park home run, Kevin.
Okay, here's McRae going to third. They're going to hold him at third, Bill, and it's a good job by Alan Attridge, the right fielder, going over there to back up Cooper. And McRae has himself a triple.
I thought he had enough time to get home, but then that just might be my aggressive way of trying to send him home. But he hit that one right into the gap. Here's a look as he hits a low ball. He went down and got that one and drove it deep to the gap in right center field. No chance for center fielder Brad Cooper. Attridge at the wall fires it in, and the relay was in time. A good throw in from the outfield to keep McRae at third base with 1 out and Tony Rogerson at the plate.
Tony's 0 for 1 today. He is the left fielder here for Portage. Takes a cut at that, and this is a sun field. It could be a tough play here, but Doherty goes back and makes the play. Nice play by the shortstop, Steve Doherty. Off the crack of the bat, off Rogerson, he went and got that one. That was a nice play.
That fly ball just simply wasn't deep enough to get McRae in, and that's a big out. 2 outs now, and the runner's still stranded at third base.
Right, McRae, the triple off Federici. There's 2 away now, and first baseman is up, Jason Pilkington. Jason is 0 for 1 on the day.
See if Federici can get out of this jam.
Oh, yeah, I think he's going to. Brad Cooper, the center fielder, goes back, and makes the catch this time for the 3rd out of the ball game. 3rd out of the inning. Boy, that was well hit by Pilkington. And he gets away with 1 hit, no runs, so it remains 6-2 after 4 innings of play. It's interesting. Well, trivia question number 2 is coming up for you at home.
After 4 complete innings, Manitoba 6, British Columbia.
And now the Sands Motor Inn trivia question. Answer correctly and you could win one of these complete sets of 1991 Topps baseball cards. And a weekend stay for 2 at the Sands Motor Inn. Now our trivia question. George Bell holds the single-season record for most home runs by a Blue Jay. Who is second? If you know the answer, call us now at 652-1471. If you're calling from outside of Saskatoon, please call collect. Good luck.
Well, Portage leading the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship this afternoon, 6-2 over BC. We'll be back with the 5th inning action as our live coverage continues from Cairns Field.
Yeah. Well, watch yourself. You're sitting on it. Where's J-Boy? Now, down at J-Boy.
Yeah, sure, he could do some of this now. He should get paid minute. Hey, where's he with all these interviews?
I don't know. Oh, well. Down over. What? Ostapovich.
Leading off for British Columbia on the 5th inning, the catcher, Chad Ostapovich.
We're back at Cairns Field for the final game of the Canadian Major Baseball Championship. Portage leading Richmond, BC by a score of 6-2. Chad Ostapovich, the catcher, will be the leadoff batter here in the 5th inning. 125 for the tournament. He's 0 for 4 as he laid down a sack in the 2nd inning in his only plate appearance.
He's a 17-year-old catcher from Maple Ridge and is a highly regarded catcher. Speaking with the manager Larry Cochran, says he's very good defensively, and many feel he has great potential as a player.
Oh, a nice hit down third base line by Cliff McCartney, and it goes to Tony Rogerson, who gets the ball in very quickly to the second baseman, Chris Johnston, but a leadoff single for Chad Ostapovich, and this one he just cranks down third base line, and McCartney has no chance at all.
Pulled it down the line. McCartney, as you mentioned, wasn't able to pick up the ball and made the big turn at first base, but Tony Rogerson holds Ostapovich to a single. And this is what the BC club needs. They had to get someone on base, and they've got to get a rally going here if they're going to get themselves close in this ball game.
Well, John Sautel looking for his first hit of the tournament, and he looks at a call ball 1. 1-0. So Ostapovich is on first. Travis Blaine giving up a hit. He was cruising along. The last hit he gave up was in the 2nd inning. He had retired Bill 8 in a row.
9 in a row.
9 in a row until Ostapovich came up with that sharp single down third base line. They need base runners, and they need them now. We're in the top of the 5th inning of the final. Inside, 2-0 to Sautel. I wanted to mention that Ostapovich, I saw him earlier in the semifinal talking to a few fans from Saskatoon, Jake Rempel in particular, and I went over to Jake and said, how do you know this guy? I mean, usually you don't see someone from BC talking too much with anyone from Saskatoon, and they're relative, they're related. And Ostapovich, it was a chance for him to spend a couple of days here in Saskatoon with some relatives, and I think he enjoyed it. Jake Rempel, of course, very known in the province of Saskatchewan, Mr. Softball, sponsors the Rempel Brothers softball team, and just enjoys baseball and softball. He's a real sportsman here. Sautel, the third baseman, needs to get things going here for Richmond. Their bullpen is quiet. Manitoba's bullpen is quiet. It's all up to Travis Blaine, who's pitched a dandy since the 1st inning. Leads 6-2 in the top of the 5th inning. Midget baseball goes to 7 innings. Comes in with that. Catcher should have a shot at it. Sid Coop is there and drops it. Could have overran it.
We'll see if that comes back to play a part in this inning.
Well, let's see.
Difficult. The ball's slicing away from him. Just off the end of his glove.
Great shot there in the slow-mo camera. You can see it just went off the edge of his glove, and Sid Coop should have had that.
Blaine had really jammed Sautel. It was in on his fists.
Sid was in Regina last month for the select team, the youth team from Manitoba. So you know he's one of the better catchers from the province of Manitoba. That was a good tournament in Regina in July. Weak swing for a called strike. They're going to second to get the out, and he's there. He's safe. And with the guy on first base, they will call that play. What happened on that?
Stolen base.
Yeah, it's stolen base.
Stolen base, so we'll strike out and a stolen base.
That's right. Sautel will go down. When it's occupied like that, the guy going from first to second, in this case, Ostapovich, was on his own. He started to slow down there, but he's on his own, and it's a stolen base by him.
You mentioned about the Canadian Junior Championships in Regina. There were 8 players currently on this midget team that were part of that Manitoba team that played in those junior championships.
And we have Steve Doherty up, back to the pitcher. Travis Blaine to Jason Pilkington for the out. So there's 2 away here at the top of the 5th with Ostapovich stuck there at second base. They need to get him home. And boy, Travis Blaine has done a nice job. I mean, he gave up the single to start this inning, and he got Sautel down in his first strikeout of the ball game. And then Doherty goes back 1-3. Brad Cooper now up 364 during the tournament. 1 for 2 today. Scored a run in the first inning for Richmond. And he looks at an inside pitch for ball 1. 6-2, we have the score with Manitoba Portage leading the Richmond Yankees from British Columbia. Both teams finishing with records of 2-1. Both winning their semifinal games earlier. Richmond over Alberta 2-1. Manitoba beating the Atlantic region, the defending champions, 6-1. Here's the pitch, and that is a sharp hit out to right field. That could score a run. We'll see if Ostapovich comes in. He's going to come in to score. Let's see the play at the plate. They've got him. The catcher held on. Sid Coop, a great play by the catcher. And Drew McRae, the right fielder, threw a strike right at Sid Coop.
The base hit for Cooper, and Ostapovich comes all the way. His only recourse is to try and knock the ball loose. But Coop makes the play. Well, here, Kevin, he's up the line, blocks the plate, and takes the collision. And that's a big out as far as Portage is concerned. BC trying to score the third run to no avail.
Let's give credit to the umpire, Howard Cross. He waited to see if the ball was jarred loose. It was not. Sid Coop held on, and the score remains. Portage 6, Richmond 2. We'll be back with more from the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship after this message.
There was one error, 1 man left. After 4.5 innings, Manitoba 6.
That wasn't an error.
Columbia 2.
Unless a strike item.
Well, on a strikeout, if it was a wild pitch or something, that's not an error. That's my opinion.
George, is Jay Boyd going to do some interviews on field?
Walter Mudge, please come up to the press box.
Okay.
Please. Walter Mudge.
Yeah, has he got anyone that we can get him in? Okay, tell him to stand by and I'll use him. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Cairnsfield, Saskatoon, the final game of the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship. We have Portage leading Richmond, BC, 6-2. We're going to the bottom of the 5th inning, and it's the bottom of the order for Manitoba. Cliff McCartney, Sid Coop, and then we go to the top with Chris Johnston. We, of course, had our trivia question. We're taking calls on that. It's interesting because the Blue Jays came up with a come-from-behind win over the Yankees today, and on all Saskatchewan CTV stations, they're back on Wednesday against Baltimore. And next week, they go to New York to take on the Yankees. And then a week from today, they're up against the Yankees again. In fact, we're going to show all 3 games next week from Yankee Stadium, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Big win today for the Blue Jays and their bid to stay in first place in the American League Eastern Division.
The count is 1-1 to the batter, Cliff McCartney, the third baseman. He is 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Singled in the first, grounded out to third baseman in the third, and he lines this one down left. That's extra bases as Andrew Cochran goes to retrieve it, and it will be a stand-up double for Cliff McCartney for the Portage Jays.
He teed off on that Federici pitch and lined it into the left field corner. Breaking ball from Federici, and this is up high. Federici's a low ball pitcher, and that was certainly not what he wanted to deliver. Cochran has to go all the way to the wall to pick up the ball on a stand-up double for McCartney. Here is Sid Coop, the man who made the big out at the plate in that last inning to end the chance for a run for BC.
That's right, he's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Coop, the catcher, made a nice play to hang in there on the throw by the right fielder. Drew McRae to get the final out of the ball game. He pops this one up behind home plate. And Chad Ostapovich, the counterpart, does no favors and makes the play for the first out, the bottom of the 5th inning here for Portage.
Kevin, we have a winner for trivia question number 2, and that question was George Bell holds the single season.
We'll give you the winner in just a second.
And again, the question, George Bell holds the single season record for most home runs by a Blue Jay, which is 47. And the question is, who is second? Who's the next man?
Well, you think of Fred McGriff right away, but
don't be giving out clues, Kevin.
Okay, our next batter, we go to the top of the order for Chris Johnston. He has scored a run here today, and he scored 2 runs for Portage. He's done his job.
2 for 2 today with a walk.
So he's been on base all 3 times, and he's up here in the bottom of the 5th inning for Manitoba. They have a healthy lead, 6-2. They have a man in scoring position, and Chris McCartney, number 24 in your viewing picture there. Johnston also on that youth team for Manitoba that took part in Regina in July.
We now have a winner, Kevin, for our trivia question number 2. The winner is Jeff Fox from Saskatoon, who was correct in answering that Jesse Barfield is the number 2 man in most home runs in a season by a Blue Jay with 40. George Bell at 47.
Federici up on the count, 0-2, comes in there, grounds to first base, and it is fair ball. So a base hit for Johnston, his 3rd of the afternoon. He's going to 2nd on the play, and he stands up, and another run comes in. McCartney is safe, and an RBI for Chris Johnston, his 3rd hit of the ball game. Look at this.
Is a well-hit ball just inside the bag. It just gets by the first baseman and into the right field corner. Turns into a double for Johnston.
Tough play for first baseman Chris Randolph. Maybe could have been over a little more. The
ball was just inside the bag and just inside the line. Tough play.
Cam Croy 2 for 3 today. I think you're seeing the key here for Portage is Johnston and Croy. The 1-2 batters have been on base, and they have scored, and they have done the trick here this afternoon against BC. And Croy gets around on this one to right field. Attridge giving a look at this, and it is out of play. He really got around on it.
Hit that one quite a ways.
We said we've only had 1 homer in the tournament, and that was an inside the park jobby, and Croy got around on that. He scored in the 1st inning. Pop up to the pitcher in the 2nd inning, and then lined a single in the 3rd, so he is 2 for 3. Nice pitch by Federici. Strike 2. Second pitcher of the ball game for Richmond. They got to Eric Pateman in the 2nd inning for 6 runs, 5 earned, and Federici has come on here and has given up a run in this inning in the bottom of the 5th inning. Cam Croy, RBI situation with Chris Johnston at 2nd base. A little jockeying there by Steve Doherty. Comes inside for the ball, 1-2. Third baseman is, you can see him in your picture there behind Federici, was playing 3rd base very, very, very close. Now he's off the bag quite a bit. That's John Sotel.
Well, they're playing Croy straight away.
Seem a little concerned about Johnston there at 2nd base. There's a sharp hit in the gap. Brad Cooper and Alan Aldridge will have to go to the wall to get it. We've had another triple in this ball game, Bill, and coming in to 3rd base, standing up, is Cam Croy. An RBI triple as Chris Johnston comes in easily from 2nd base, and Croy saw the gapper between Cooper and Aldridge and went with the pitch and rolled right to the wall.
He couldn't have placed that ball more perfectly, as you mentioned, Kevin, because Croy found the gap in right center field and has the speed to get around the base path. Johnston scores easily. Croy in easily as well to 3rd base, and that puts Portage up in command now, adding 2 runs in this inning to give themselves an 8-2 lead and a 6-run cushion over the Richmond Yankees.
Shane Calder 1 for 2 today with a base on ball.
And the other man who had a triple today.
That's right. He hit that ball well in the 2nd inning. He has scored 2 runs today. Shane Calder looks at a pitch outside, gets away from catcher Chad Ostapovich. But the runner at 3rd, Cam Croy, maintains his ground there at 3rd. There's no sense rushing things. There's 2 away here. They've already scored 2 off Ben Federici. Nobody warming up in the BC bullpen. They have a mercy rule. Whether they use it or not, I don't know, Bill. The mercy rule is 10 runs. I don't know if they'll use it in the final game. Adam DeBray will take the sure out to Chris Randall. And coming in to score was Cam Croy on the play from 3rd base. So a nice bit of hitting by Shane Calder going to the right side of the ballpark.
It's the RBI to score Cam Croy.
9-2 ball game now. Portage leading British Columbia Richmond Yankees. Nice bit of hitting by Calder, getting the ball in the right field to the 2nd baseman for the 2nd out. Kelly Funk is 1 for 3 today, struck out his last time up.
So much for my thoughts on a low-scoring defensive ball game. It always seems to turn out that way. The team that does so well to the round-robin portion of a tournament, whether it be hockey or baseball or basketball, you consider them to have an advantage going into the championship game, but that certainly has gone out the window in today's contest.
I think BC's tired. They won the provincial championship a week ago today, and had to fly here Wednesday, played Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
extra inning game Thursday. Played Friday, as you mentioned, played Saturday against Manitoba. A game this morning, which was a tight one, 2-1.
That's right. Won it on a pass ball, actually, Bill, against Alberta.
And they were down in that ball game 1-0 early as well, and had to battle back to get to the championship final.
So I think it's really caught up to them, and they're a better ball club than down 7 runs here in the 5th inning, but needless to say, I think we've got to give Portage a lot of credit because they were down in this ball game 2-0 and struck back with 4 runs in the 1st and 2 in the 2nd inning. There's a sharp grounder to the second baseman. Nice play by DeBray, and he can't make the play. Outstretched, and that should be a hit.
Oh, it's got to be a hit. In a lot of respects, Adam DeBray had no business being over there to get the ball in the first place. Showed great range going to his right or to his left, and got a hold of the ball. Base hit for Kelly Funk.
That's right. So for Funk, that's his 2nd hit of the afternoon.
I tell you, Bob Calder couldn't ask for more from his top 4 batters in the lineup.
They have done a job. Drew McRae up now, and Drew had a triple last time. He's 2 for 3 in the ball game. Takes a swing there. Federici gets the strike.
Those 4 players have been responsible for 8 of the 9 runs scored by Portage.
Johnston, Croy, Calder, and Funk. Top 4 have done a nice job here for Portage. McRae a single and a triple so far today, and he's up here with the man on first. Outside, 1-1. 2-way here, bottom of the 5th inning of the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship. Final game is the Portage Jays, it looks like, will win the title from Richmond. Drew McRae, the right fielder for Portage. Runner going on the play. Ostapovich down to second base, and he is there. A stolen base for Kelly Funk, the designated hitter. So regardless being up 7 runs, Bill, they continue to run.
Well, I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you. Stealing bases, you're up 9-2, but because BC certainly wasn't anticipating any stolen bases, neither the shortstop nor the second baseman was in position to take the throw.
First stolen base of the day for Kelly Funk. So McRae with the count of 2-1, facing Ben Federici, the relief pitcher for Richmond. Inside, 3-1. Federici on the mound, starting to walk around a bit. He's given up 3 runs in this inning. All earned. Funk on second, McRae the batter. McRae a chopper to third base against the sun. Sawtell makes the play over to first. He's not in time. He beat it out. Good running by McRae.
Sawtell knocked it down. I thought he would have time to get the runner at first, but McRae was that much quicker.
Yes, during the tournament he stole 3 bases. So McRae's got the Jets.
And that's an error to Sawtell, so McRae goes to first on the error by third baseman John Sawtell. Kelly Funk remains at second base.
Tony Rogerson 0 for 2. Funk has 2 stolen bases today. I said 1, he's got 2. So he's at second base and McRae's at first. Rogerson the batter, and he takes a cut at that, and that's going out of play. First strike 1, so Funk has a couple of stolen bases.
He caught that on the bounce. I thought they'd applauded he caught it in the air.
That's right. It's a member from Quebec. They're waiting for the closing ceremonies. There they are in the stands. Some of the teams here, Quebec and Atlantic is right below them here.
It was unfortunate actually for Quebec because they also finished with a record of 2-1 in their pool, but because of the tie-breaking system, they were left out of the cold, so to speak. They had tied with the Atlantic representatives from Newcastle, and they'd also tied with Sherwood Park of Alberta. All 3 teams at 2-1. The Atlantic region team, Newcastle, was awarded first place based on the fact that they had a better defensive record. And then the second tiebreaker, the tiebreaker to determine second spot, is head-to-head competition, and Alberta had won that by a score of 5-3. So Quebec was left out of the medal competition.
2-1 is the count to Tony Rogerson, the left fielder for Portage. I would think that Bob Calder may put in a few of his spares, so call it, pretty soon to give him some playing time in the final. There's a chopper down to third. Nice play by Sawtell. He could have just stepped on the bag and elects to throw to first. It goes over Chris Rendell. 2 runs will score, or at least 1 will score on the play.
And we had an awful collision at first base. Tony Rogerson going down the line, and the first baseman Chris Randall stretching for the throw. They collided, and both players, Randall has not yet gotten up to his feet, but Rogerson is up, and now Randall is up as well.
Well, here's the play. All Sawtell had to do is step on the bag for the out, because there was men at first and second. He elects to go to first. Yeah, it was a forced play, and he throws high, and he clips his leg as he goes down first baseline.
Randall went high in the air to try and make the grab, and Rogerson, as you mentioned, clipped his foot, and down went Randall in a heap.
There's Kelly Funk coming in to score the 10th run of the ball game. So it's 10-2 now as Funk scores from second base.
And that'll go as another error on the throw by
Sawtell. Right, so Drew McRae now is at third base, and Rogerson will be at first. And I think we're going to see a couple of subs, I would think, come in very shortly here for Portage to give him some playing time. And I hope Chris Randall's okay. I mean, first baseman going up like that, you're at the mercy, and it was a high throw by Sawtell. And he was at the mercy, and as Rogerson went by, he clipped his leg. So Federici's in more trouble here as he faces the first baseman, Pilkington. 1 for 3, 250 on the tournament.
This is the 9th batter in the inning, Kevin.
Yes, and they've scored, 4 runs already. And they've men at the corners here with 2 out. Pilkington singled in the first, grounded up to the shortstop, and had a fly ball to Cooper that was caught at center field the last time up, and that was only last inning, so they're going through the batting order very quickly here. Looks at an inside pitch for ball 2. It's really come unraveled here for BC Richmond Yankees. Tough inning for pitcher Ben Federici. The right-hander delivers on a 2-0 count. Inside corner.
Looking down into the Portage bullpen, they've got Kevin Bradshaw up and throwing pitches and warming up. And there very well could be a pitching change coming up shortly. Also grabbing a ball and glove, Ron Relikoff.
A one-hopper back to Federici, over to Randall. That ends the inning, but another big inning by the Portage Jays as they score 4 runs. And they have grabbed a commanding 10-2 lead over British Columbia after 5 innings of play. Our live coverage of the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship will continue in just a minute.
For Manitoba, in the bottom of the 5th inning, there were 4 runs on 4 hits. There were 2 errors and 2 men left. After 5 complete innings, Manitoba 10, British Columbia 2. A reminder that the awards presentation and the closing ceremonies will follow this afternoon's game. There will be approximately 5 to 10 minutes delay in getting the teams in their places. So please be patient. Remain in your seats for the brief interval until the closing ceremony, the award presentation. Also, if you haven't already bought a baseball program, you can pick one up on your way out at $1 a piece. And the draw for the 50-50 will be made during the closing ceremonies. And it's worth...
Welcome back to Cairns Field. We go to the top of the 6th inning now for British Columbia. They're down 10-2 to Manitoba. The Portage Jays have struck for 4 runs in the first inning, 2 more in the second, and 4 more here in the 5th inning. We have a new pitcher, Kevin Bradshaw, on the mound.
Kevin Bradshaw coming in relief of Travis Blaine. Just to give you the rundown on Blaine, first of all, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, and a strikeout. Did not walk a batter. Kevin Bradshaw into the ball game. As far as his play with Manitoba, Kevin has come into the game with a record of 1 win and no losses. He pitched to 5 innings, gave up 4 hits, a walk, and struck out 5, and no earned runs allowed in his only appearance.
So Travis Blaine stands to be the winner. He pitched very effectively after the first inning, and he just completely shut down the Richmond batting order.
Well, as we said, he didn't allow a walk and gave up just the 2 earned runs, and 4 of those, will make it 5 of those. Let's start it again. 3 of those 6 hits he gave up came in the first inning.
Adam DeBray, the leadoff hitter for Richmond in the top of the 6th inning, goes around for the strike. It's count of 0-2. Jay Boyd on hand this afternoon, and he's down in the dugout area. We'll hear from him a little later. DeBray had a sacrifice bunt in the first and grounded to the shortstop in the 3rd inning. So he's 0 for 1. There's Bradshaw's stats, 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, picked up the win. And he's a right-hander. Takes the cut right down to Shane Calder. Calder takes the 2-hopper, long throw, close play, and they get Adam DeBray, who went down first baseline very, very quickly.
Nice play by shortstop Shane Calder, who got the good throw across quickly, and Bradshaw's off to a good start.
That's right. Here's the pitch once again, Bill, as DeBray goes with it to short. Look at the play.
Just
nice stretch.
Bang.
Yeah, nice stretch by Jason Pilkington, the first baseman of Manitoba. Made the nice stretch to get him by a hair. Chris Randall, 1 for 2 today. And he looks at ball 1. Bradshaw, the second pitcher for Manitoba, with a comfortable 10-2 lead, top of the 6th inning. Picking up the pieces for Travis Blaine, who did a fantastic job. That could fall in there. Shortstop's going back, goes over his head. Shane Calder tried to pick it up. Tony Rogerson, also the left fielder, came in, but we have a base hit by Chris Randall, his 2nd of the afternoon, so he's 2 for 3.
Unfortunately, though, for the Richmond Yankees, they haven't been able to get enough timely hits or enough hits to put together to generate a few more runs other than the 2 that they got in the opening inning of play.
And all sack bunts. They really tried to rattle Travis Blaine in the first with those bunts. It seemed to work. But now they've got to put together a streak of hits. And Andrew Cochran, the left fielder, will try to shed his 0 for 1 day. Had a sacrifice fly in the first inning to drive in a run. 4th inning, he grounded out. Did he get hit there? That really came in on him. He got out of the way, and down to second base goes Chris Randall. Boy, that really came in on the batter, Andrew Cochran. Did a good job to get away. In fact, maybe he's talking to the umpire now and hit him.
The autographed bat and ball was won by Irv Horswick.
No. So it's still 2-0. That came very close to him. Cochran in the tournament, 4 for 9. The left fielder for Richmond. Again inside. Well, 3 balls and no strikes. I guess if you're the head coach of Richmond, Larry Cochran, you don't mind this at all. You like to get more base runners.
Exactly. You want to get a few men on base. He squares around the bunt.
Oh, and they gave him that call.
Takes a strike.
Home plate umpire Howard Cross for Moose Jaw. 3-1. Well, if I was Cochran, I'd just stand there. I'm not too sure I would square around the bunt, but we'll see. Has a man at second. Randall's there. Side low. He wraps up to the first baseman, Pilkington. Nice play to the pitcher covering Kevin Bradshaw, and there's 2 away. But a nice play by the first baseman, Jason Pilkington, to scoop up that grounder. And we have our second out in the top of the 6th inning. That was a nice play by Pilkington for the second out. Bradshaw did a nice job. Let's give him some credit as he came over from the pitching mound to cover.
And we're going to have a pinch hitter for the Richmond Yankees, Jeff Shepard, now coming to the plate for Jamie Croker.
23, Jeff Shepard gets into the game. This is a designated hitter spot, so it's nice. Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Sorry there, Kevin. He only had 2 plate appearances. Did pick up a base hit in his only... did pick up a base hit in one of his 2 times at bat.
Well, that's good to get your players into the ball game. It's pretty well decided, I would think, in the 6th, with Portage leading by a score of 10-2. There's a little activity in the Manitoba bullpen. I'm not sure if they're pitchers or they're just reserves ready to come in the next inning. But it's kind of nice to leave Saskatoon and say that you took part in the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship and actually played in the final game.
It's interesting, I might point out, Kevin,
grounder, and we have our second out in the top of the 6th inning. That was a nice play by Pilkington for the second out. Bradshaw did a nice job. Let's give him some credit as he came over from the pitching mound to cover.
And we're going to have a pinch hitter for the Richmond Yankees, Jeff Shepard, and now coming to the plate for Jamie Croker.
23, Jeff Shepard gets into the game. This is a designated hitter spot, so it's nice. Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Sorry there, Kevin. He only had 2 plate appearances. Did pick up a base hit in his only. Did pick up a base hit in one of his 2 times at bat.
Well, that's good to get your players into the ball game. It's pretty well decided, I would think, in the 6th, with Portage leading by a score of 10-2. There's a little activity in the Manitoba bullpen. I'm not sure if they're pitchers or they're just reserves ready to come in the next inning. But it's kind of nice to leave Saskatoon and say that you took part in the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship and actually played in the final game.
It's interesting, I might point out, Kevin, the fact that the manager, Larry Cochran, is also the third base coach.
That's right. Some sit in the dugout, but Larry likes a hands-on approach, and he's down there at third. Jeff Shepard, number 56, will be batting here for Jamie Croker. They put him back in, Bill. They've decided to go with Croker after all.
Standing.
Yeah, that's 56. Jamie's still back in there. 0 for 2, and he takes a cut there to make it 1-1. Shepard was coming out.
And standing at the plate.
I know. He was coming out.
Hand.
And then Cochran went back to the plate, and maybe he wants some later. Strike 2, nice pitch by Kevin Bradshaw, who is coming in relief here for Travis Blaine from Manitoba, the top of the 6th inning. The A's leading the Yankees here by a score of 10-2. Here's the pitch. Kind of wasted that one, 2-2 against Croker. Swung the bat very well in the tournament, hitting .500, 2 for 4, and the semifinal this morning went 1 for 3 against Alberta. He's 0 for 2 so far today with a fly to center field, and he popped one up to the third baseman, last time up in the 4th inning.
I know in the major leagues that the A's have always held the Yankees' number over the past couple of years. Yankee victories against Oakland have been few and far between.
Here's a chopper down third base line. Larry Cochran, the coach of Richmond, tried to make the play on that. Yes, and it looks like that's the same situation here again today, Bill. The A's came back from a 2-run deficit to score 4 in the bottom of the 1st and never looked back. They took advantage of a shaky Eric Pateman and have added on that on Ben Federici. Just a great job by Manitoba's top 4, Johnston, Croy, Calder, Funk. They've got on base and have scored. They lead 10-2 here as we enter the 6th inning. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Little low, 3-2. 3-2 with a man on third base, 2 away. Chris Randall is down at third now. There you see Chris led off with a single. Advanced to second and third.
Moved to second on the wild pitch.
Croker looks outside. He got it. Shane Calder's going to pick it up. Throws to first. And a nice stretch again by Jason Pilkington for the 3rd out of the ball game of the inning. And a nice stretch by Pilkington to get Croker there to end the 6th. You can see the play here coming up. Just a nice stretch. And after 5.5, it is Manitoba 10 and British Columbia 2. We'll be back with more on the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship after this message.
Here's a list of your prize winners in the championship raffle. If the winners are here today, will they please go down to the table to pick up the prizes and also to sign for them at the same time. The autographed bat and ball, won by Irv Borthwick, Gurdless Crescent in Saskatoon. The official 1991 All-Star Game Jacket, won by Jay Metcalf of Dufferin Avenue in Saskatoon. The sports print, won by Tom Dale of Manitou Crescent. Some people are lucky. A talk radio, also won by Tom Dale.
Welcome back to Cairns Field in the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship. Manitoba leading British Columbia 10-2. You can see the line score. Manitoba 4 in the first and 4 more in the fifth inning. As both managers now, there's a look at manager of Manitoba, Bob Calder, talking to the umpire. There's going to be changes. There's been changes already made by the Richmond Yankees. And Bob Calder, the head coach of Portage, is going to make some lineup changes, it appears.
The new pitcher is Andrew Cochran, who began the game in left field, and taking over for Cochran in left field will be Jeff Shepard.
Okay, there's the line on Cochran. We just saw it there momentarily, so he's been in the ball game. Jeff Shepard goes to left field. We have a pinch hitter coming up here too, I believe, for
number 17, Ryan Matthews.
Ryan Matthews. He leads it off. Ryan Matthews in the bottom of the sixth inning, and that is outside.
He'll be hitting for Cliff McCartney.
Stay tuned. The bottom of the inning, we have our third and final trivia question if you want to win those top cards. Strike, 1-1.
Cochran's a left-hander, and according to his father, he's a good fastball pitcher, lots of movement on his fastball.
We expected to see him. Matthews chops that one foul, and it's 1-2 now. You see that quite a bit, I think, in midget baseball. Players can do a lot of things, and Andrew Cochran is a good athlete. He plays field, comes in and pitch. He's the third pitcher here for British Columbia. Outside, 2-2.
Cochran has pitched 3 innings, giving up a pair of hits, an earned run, walked 3, and struck out 2 in his only other appearances.
Here's the payoff pitch. And low. That's a full count now on Matthews.
Might mention also that another defensive change for the Yankees is the fact that John Saltell is out of the ball game, and Jamie Croker, who was the DH, is now moved to third base.
So lots of changes. There's a walk. So Manitoba continues to run the base pass as they get a free pass. Number 17 there is Brian Schwartz. This is Sid Coop. So we've had some, Ryan Matthews is at first for Portage. That's right, 17. I was looking at the Richmond lineup, which is Schwartz, number 17. Thanks, Bill. You've helped me out quite a bit. So Matthews is down to first here to start the bottom of the sixth inning. They're up 10-2. Here's Coop looking at ball. 1-1 is the count from home plate umpire Howard Cross. We expected to see a lot of changes. Jamie Croker, like you mentioned, is at third base, replacing John Sawtell. Jeff Shepard is out in left field, and Cochran moves from left to pitch. I think we'll see a lot more in the next inning.
They'll probably try and get the rest of their bench into the ball game.
Right,
I see Alfie Thomas moving into the
there's a chopper.
bullpen.
That's right, chopper to Jamie, and he throws on to first Chris Randall to get the out. So Sid Coop is out, going 5-3 for the first out here in the bottom of the inning. Jamie Croker making a nice play.
1 away in the inning, and Ryan Matthews standing at second. Chris Johnston, he has been a big factor in this ball game now at the plate. 3 hits in the ball game, scored 3 runs. He's also driven in a run.
Big offensive day for Chris Johnston, the second baseman for Manitoba. 3 for 3 today. That average was during the tournament, but boy, has he cranked it up here, Bill, as you mentioned. Been on base 4 times. It looks at a called strike from Andrew Cochran. Andrew, talking to his father, I think like a lot of BC players would like to get involved in some college baseball in the United States. It's outside, 1-1. For the first time ever, Bill, last June, a couple of months ago, Canadians were eligible to be drafted in the American draft. We had a number of scouts here. 4 teams were here. Nice curveball by Cochran just inside. We had a number of scouts. I talked to the Expo scout, Bill McKenzie. Walt Jeffries from the Toronto Blue Jays was here.
Who would have taken more Canadians, the New York Yankees or the Toronto Blue Jays?
You figure that out on the draft. Well, the answer would be the Yankees. They took 7. Sharp single by Johnston. He's on again. And he has just done a fabulous job. There's Matthews stopping at third base. He held up at third, and Johnston gets a single.
4 for 4 on the day.
4 for 4 in the day. Chris Johnston.
And speaking of hot batters, here comes
The
Cam
single
Croy.
for Curtis Johnston brings to bat the center fielder, Cam
And the
Croy.
left-hander, as you can see the replay here, as Matthews goes on to third base, standing up. He was held there by third base coach. So we have men at first and third. Cam Croy, 3 for 4 today. I mean, he's just had a fabulous tournament. He hit 385 during the tournament, 3 for 4 today. Had a nice triple last time up. Hits it down first base line. They're going to try to turn the double. They go to second, back to first, not in time, and the run will score. It's 11-2 for Portage. But they do get it out, as Johnston was caught at second base, and Croy beat it out. And coming in to score is Matthews, so it's 11-2. Here's the play, just pokes her down first baseline.
Actually, a nice play by Randall. He turns to try and get the DP, sends it over to the shortstop, Steve Doherty, back to first, but not in time to get Cam Croy. Goes as a fielder's choice. An RBI, though, for Croy as Ryan Matthews scores on the play.
Here's Shane Calder, and he's had a big day, and he goes to right with that single. And trying to make it over to third is Croy, and he will stand up. And Shane Calder very wisely goes on to second. So the hit parade continues for the middle of this order. Johnston, Croy, and Calder have just crushed BC Yankee pitching here this afternoon.
Calder with a base hit into right field, and then taking second on the long throw by Attridge, who was throwing it into third base.
Here's Kelly Funk, 2 for 4 today, and he broke out of a slump that he had during the tournament where he is 1 for 10. And today, 2 for 4. 2 singles, 1 in the first and 1 in the fifth. He has scored 2 runs today, and that pitch from Andrew Cochran is high for a ball. 11-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Our final trivia question is awaiting right after this inning. Outside, and they're going to call that a strike on the corner, 1-1.
Ben Federici, who pitched 3 2/3 innings in relief of Eric Papen, gave up 9 hits, 4 runs. 3 of those were earned. Didn't walk a batter, but struck out 1.
Funk jammed him in the fist, 1 for 2. Well, at third base, Cam Croy, and Shane Calder is at second, waiting to be picked up. There's a look at Croy. Scored a couple of runs today. Kelly Funk, the designated hitter for the Portage Jays, commanding 9-run lead. Bottom of the 6th, and he rips this one foul over first base line and way out of play. Got around on that very well on Cochran.
Off-speed pitch. Funk drove in a pair of runs in the opening inning of play. As you mentioned, Kevin, he's also scored twice and stole a pair of bases.
So it looks like Manitoba will pick up the Canadian Midget Championship here, and there's a fly ball. Second baseman should take it, and Adam DeBray is there to retire the side, but another big inning here for Portage. Score a run, and they now lead by a score of 11-2, and it's time for trivia.
And now, the Sands Motor Inn trivia question. Answer correctly and you could win one of these complete sets of 1991 Topps baseball cards. And a weekend stay for 2 at the Sands Motor Inn. Now our trivia question. Who holds the Blue Jay record for the highest batting average in a season? And here's a hint, he's still active with the Blue Jays. If you know the answer, call us now at 652-1471. If you're calling from outside of Saskatoon, please call collect. Good luck.
Nice hint. He's still with the Blue Jays. Well, Manitoba on their way to the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship with a commanding 9-run lead as we head to the final inning here at Cairns Field. 11-2 Manitoba as we go to the top of the 7th.
And a defensive change for Manitoba. Now playing left field, number 10, Jeff White.
Tell him go.
Welcome back to Cairns Field. I'm Kevin Wall with Bill O'Donovan and Jay Boyd. The final game of the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship, Manitoba with a commanding 11-2 lead. We go to the top of the 7th, then undoubtedly the final inning here for Richmond. They struck early, Bill, and then their bats simply were held in check by Travis Blaine and this guy here, Kevin Bradshaw, who came in last inning of relief.
Kevin Bradshaw, as you mentioned, came in last inning, gave up a hit, but other than that, had very little trouble as he had 3 ground ball outs, and he's here to finish off the ball game. One defensive change for Portage. They've brought in Jeff White to play in left field as we go to the top of the 7th inning.
It's kind of bad. It's kind of anticlimactic because all week long we've had very close games, and this one was just simply a blowout because of the Portage bats. They were hot, and there's nothing you can do. I mean, they just were really going well.
Didn't seem to matter who Richmond put in there as far as people were
yeah, that's right.
throwing the ball, but Eric Pateman, now who started the ball game, is up at the plate.
That's right, 54. So he's going to pinch hit for Alan Attridge. It's Darren Mitchell. They've announced Darren Mitchell is the batter here, number 53. He must have changed with Pateman because Pateman started the game with 50.
Actually, I was going to say, how could Pateman come back in to pinch hit if he'd already been taken out of the ball
it's
game?
not. Yeah. So Darren Mitchell is the batter here. Darren Mitchell, number. They must have changed uniforms, and it's going to be Darren Mitchell batting for Alan Attridge. So these are kind of changes that you expect in the ball game when there's a blowout of 11-2. Just bear with us a bit. Kevin Bradshaw on the mound for Portage as they try to wrap up their first Canadian Midget Championship inside. Pitch of 1-2 now is the count. Home plate umpire Howard Cross. Doesn't have to have too many tough calls the way the bats have been going here for Portage.
You know, you go back, Kevin, to a couple innings. Score was 6-2, and Richmond looking to score that 3rd run, and Chad Ostapovich, who had singled, stolen a base, and then tried to score on the base hit by Brad Cooper, but a fine throw from the outfield by Drew McRae and got him out of the plate.
That's right.
Things haven't gone that well for Richmond since.
Yeah, the right fielder really made a nice play, Drew McRae, that inning. And a strikeout for Kevin Bradshaw as he gets Darren Mitchell down swinging. Another pinch hitter here now, Alfie Thomas. Alfie Thomas into the ball game. He's pitch hitting for the catcher, Chad Ostapovich. Like I mentioned, this is the time you want to use your reserves. I'm into the ball game. Tip my hat to Don Cousins. I mean, they've done a nice job out here in Saskatoon. They've worked hard to make this tournament successful. The weatherman certainly cooperated with them, and they've had nice attendance out here. They've worked hard on their draws and their souvenirs just to make a little money, and they might make a few cents out of it and give the tournament committee a lot of credit. A chopper to the shortstop. Shane Calder waits for the big bounce, and it goes over his head. Jeff White will have to pick that up in left field, and that was a tough bounce. And on base. Oh, if they call that a hit in there,
I'm watching the scoreboard,
Yeah,
Kevin. I believe they're going to award. They are awarding Thomas a base hit on the plate. Bad hop. He stayed back in that ball. Some people would say, well, maybe he should have taken charge and come in and cut it off. But
Shepard hitting 500 on the tournament. This is his first at bat. Shepard taking the place of John Sotel. We expected him last inning. He was right up the middle. That will be a single. So the Yankees have men at first and second with one away here at the top of the 7th. Kind of a late rally they have going against Kevin Bradshaw, but that one was right up the middle. Nice swing by Jeff Shepard.
Shepard in playing left field as they've moved Andrew Cochran in from left field to pitcher. So we got runners at first and second for Brian Schwartz, another pinch hitter.
Brian Schwartz will be batting here now. There's Brian. I'll look at him as he's pinch hitting for Steve Doherty. That's been a called strike. Brian Schwartz.
Brian did not see any action in the tournament, nor in the semifinals. This is his first at bat.
1-1, and pitcher on the mound for Manitoba trying to wrap it up is Kevin Bradshaw. So Bradshaw, there's a wild pitch, goes to the back of the screen. Runners move up. Shepard and Alfie Thomas. Thomas moves over to third. Shepard to second. So let's give the Yankees a little bit credit getting some of their ball players in. Brian Schwartz, his first plate appearance. Like you said, Phil, for the Canadian Championship, didn't play in the tournament or the semifinal, and here he is now. And it's kind of a tough situation. Goes off field with a strike. 2. So we'll see what happens. Brian Schwartz, the batter here for the Yankees. Nice pitch, a little curveball came in and he just fouled it off.
Well, there's not much at this point where BC can do other than just simply get the fellows into the ball game, hope they can get their bats on the ball, and just make the best of what they can.
It's hanging in there.
Runs it to a full count at 3-2. Well,
I think he must have fouled that one off, Bill. It's 2-2 the count. Kevin Bradshaw on the mound for Portage. It's a little high. There's the full count you were talking about, 3-2. ESP, you knew that was coming.
oh, of course.
Well, they have a chance to load the bases here with 1 out. They're down by 9. And ball 4, a little high.
Well, Grant Salami's not going to tie the ball game, but
Make the score respectable. Well, Brad Cooper is scheduled to come up. There's a base on ball there by Bradshaw, just outside. That appears from that angle. Well, there's Alfie Thomas on third.
Darcy McMahon is the batter, Kevin. He is also pinch hitting in the ball game.
Darcy McMahon. There he is. Bases loaded for Darcy with 1 away, top of the 7th here. Looks at a called strike from pitcher Kevin Bradshaw. Bases are loaded. Thomas on third, Shepard on second, Schwartz on first.
And for McMahon, this is also his first at bat in the tournament.
Inside, 1-1. Yes, Portage up 11-2. Bradshaw just trying to close it out, goes outside with that curve, doesn't hit the outside portion of the plate, so it's 2-1.
With McMahon at the plate, Kevin, that means that every member of the BC squad has seen some action in this ball game.
Swing and a miss, 2-2. 1 away. On a ground ball, everybody will be moving. And he goes with the pitch to the second baseman, Johnston. To the shortstop, Calder. They try to turn the double play a little too slow on it. McMahon beats the throw, but they get Schwartz down at second, but a run comes in as Alfie Thomas scores for Richmond to make it 11-3.
Well, Darcy McMahon, as I mentioned, this was his first at bat in the tournament. Comes up with an RBI, gets on base in the fielder's choice as they try to go for the 4-6-3 double play, but wasn't turned quick enough, and 2 outs now to Adam DeBray.
Adam 0 for 2 today. Had a sac bunt in the first inning. He has had 2 groundouts to the shortstop. He takes a cut at that. That could be our ball game. We'll just see here. First baseman goes back, and Jason Pilkington makes the play for the 3rd out of the ball game. And that is the final out.
Well, Kevin, congratulations to the Portage Athletics, who played a very fine ball game. And again, we mentioned it a few times during the course of the game, but the key part in my mind was the performance of their top 4 batters in the lineup. Leadoff batter Chris Johnson, their second batter Cam Croy, third batter Shane Calder, and cleanup man Kelly Funk, as they accounted for all but 2 of the runs that were scored by Manitoba, accounted for 9 of the 11 runs scored. And Johnston was just flawless at second, and so was Cam Croy at center field. And both men, I think, played a key part in the fact that Manitoba came away winners 11-3.
We'd like to congratulate Darcy LeCoursier of Saskatoon winning the trivia question, who holds the Blue Jay record for the highest batting average in the season. The answer was Rance Molinix at 324. So congratulations, Darcy. We'll be back with the post game in a moment, but there's our line score. Portage, Manitoba over Richmond from BC, 11-3. We'll be back in just a moment with more midget baseball action from Cairns Field.
The winning pitcher, Travis Blaine. The losing pitcher, Eric Bateman. After the traditional handshake with the Manitoba and British Columbia teams, please return to their dugouts. With the other teams, please meet behind the concrete grandstand in preparation for the opening ceremonies. Or the closing ceremonies.
Kevin Waugh, Bill O'Donovan, and Jay Boyd back here at Cairns Field, where Portage has won the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship convincingly, 11-3 over Richmond, BC.
Kevin, just to go through the line score today, it was 11-3 victory, as you mentioned. Richmond scoring 3 runs and 9 hits, and they committed 3 errors, while Portage came up with 11 runs on 17 hits and just 1 error. The winning pitcher in the ball game was Travis Blaine, and Eric Pateman was tagged with the loss. And again, I have to mention the fact that we had some fine performances. I was particularly impressed with Cam Croy, the Portage center fielder. Not only did he make that outstanding catch in the second inning, which I think was a key play, but he also was very proficient at the plate as he went 3 for 5. He drove in a pair of runs and also scored twice. And I guess I can't overlook Chris Johnston, who scored 3 runs. He was 4 for 4 at the plate with a walk and also drove in a run, 3 singles and a double.
Well, Bill, it's a very nice day for Manitoba. They won the semifinal over Atlantic 6-1, won convincingly here in the championship game. Let's go down to field level now. Jay Boyd with the winning manager, Bob Calder.
Bob, a long season, I suppose. A game like this, winning the Canadian Championship, makes it all worthwhile.
Oh, definitely. The game really flattered us. We hit the ball really well, and BC's not that bad. We're fairly even, and it's just one of these games.
The way it went today.
Yeah.
The first time you played these fellas in the tournament, you were shut out 3-0. The bats got going today, though, and that must have made your job awful easy to see the guys stroking the ball like they were today.
Well, yeah, but that's normal for us. Like this week, we started slow, but we just kept picking up, and it's very pleasing.
You know, an 11-3 ball game, it's hard, I think, to maybe pick out one key inning, but I thought maybe the first was the bottom of the first when you came up to bat. You're down 2-0, and you answered them very quickly with the 4 runs, and, well, you had it the rest of the way.
Well, exactly. We wouldn't have scored any runs. It would have been very tough for us to come back because BC's very good defensively. And that coming back and scoring those 3 runs really kept the boys up, and we really went after it.
What about the kids on the team now? How do you feel for them after winning this championship?
The best bunch of kids I've had, and they deserve everything they get. Very, very good.
What about these kids? Do you have a lot of them coming back next season?
Yeah, we've got a young team, and we like to have about 10 or 12 guys coming back.
Your thoughts on the tournament as a whole? You only had the 1 loss. You went through 2-1 through the round robin, won your semifinal game, won today. It's not a bad tournament for you.
No, it's a great tournament to end up this way, but like we were talking earlier on, the caliber is very, very good here. The 11-3 score does not indicate the caliber of ball at all. It was very, very close all week.
Now, you don't get much of a break. Baseball season is all but over now, and I guess you're off to the hockey rink pretty soon because you coach a Junior A team in Manitoba, the Portage Prairie Terriers.
Yeah, we start training camp next week, so it's, from the field onto the ice, so it's, not much of a break.
What about the kids on the team? Any kids on this ball team? Watch out! I think they got us both. I know they got us both. Bob, I tell you what, we'll let you go now. You dry off. I'll find a towel somewhere, too, and congratulations on winning the Canadian Championship. Folks, I'm going to find a towel. We'll take a break and be back with the players of the game in just a moment.
Your attention, please. Get your 50-50 tickets ready.
I'll hand you this, and that'll be it,
Okay,
Jeff.
sure.
Jeez. Hey, oh yeah, those guys won't throw water. What an ending. We won't keep you
He's
guys
Corbin,
too long.
the honorary chairman of the tournament, is going to make the draw for the 50-50.
Okay, nice catch, sir. Back with Cam Croy, player of the game for Portage, Prairie, Manitoba. And Cam, you're dry, I'm not, but heck of a ball game for you guys. You had 3 hits in the ball game, and what a nice catch you made out there in center field. Run us through that one you made back early in the game.
Well, the kid hit one to me before the leadoff guy, 32, eh? And I got a good jump on it this time and made the catch.
How does it feel winning a Canadian championship? Must be an awful great feeling.
Just great. I mean, these guys haven't had a team all season. They just got it together for the provincials, and to win the provincials and then the Canadian, it's just the icing on the cake.
Here's a tough one for you. You lost the game to Richmond in the round robin 3-0. Come out today and score 11 runs. What was the difference?
Well, I think we got going today early on. We were hitting the ball in the first game, and it just carried over to the second game.
Cam, once again, congratulations. We'd like to hand you a gift certificate. It's a $50 gift certificate from one of the malls here in Saskatoon, the Circle Park Mall, and we hope you put it to good use. And once again, congratulations on winning the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship here in Saskatoon. Thank you. Also with us today, a player of the game from the Richmond, British Columbia team, our player of the game, who we chose, Brad Cooper. And Brad, you had 2 hits today. I know you're disappointed, though, with the way the game went, and you fell behind early and never could really recover.
Well, the thing was, we beat them earlier in the tournament, as you said before, but the thing was, their bats were hot today, so, I mean, they were just a better team today. That's all we can really say.
I know you're not satisfied with finishing second here, but you do win the silver medal. You had a good round-robin portion of the tournament. You do have a pretty good ball team here, despite what happened today, do you not?
Yeah, like we've only been together a month, just over a month maybe, and like you said, we just came here hoping to do well. And you can't be upset with second best in the country. I mean, we're all proud of that. We're not too happy right now, but we're all proud, for sure.
Brad? Sorry, thank you very much, and $50 gift certificate for you. Richmond's player of the game. That's from the Circle Park Mall here in Saskatoon, and good luck with the rest of the career. We'll be back with more from the Canadian Midget Baseball Final at Cairns Field in Saskatoon in just a moment.
We got a yak. We got a yak for a
I should have got out of the way. Is it? Oh, I can't hear. Oh.
Just a quick goodbye, guys. Just a quick
All
goodbye.
right, good. That'll be it. Goodbye. So don't say a lot, Jay. Just say thanks very much. Goodbye. Stay tuned for Tailspin.
No, so you guys aren't saying anything?
I guess not.
I'll say Kevin Warren, Bill and Allen, thanks for watching. Hey, you guys wanted me in the 6th? Somebody came in from the bottom of the 1st to the bottom of the 5th. They had to go up there to see the player of the game and then go on. It's not the 6th then. Quick comment?
Yeah, sure.
And we're back at Cairns Field in Saskatoon. Gentlemen, a quick comment from each of you. Kevin, your thoughts on the tourney in the final game?
Well, Jay, I was disappointed in the score in the final game because the tournament itself was close until the final game when the Portage team really got their bats going. And I think the first inning was the key when they were down 2-0 and scored the 4 in the first.
Bill, not a close game, 11-3, but the tournament was a good one. We saw some good baseball here in Saskatoon.
There really was some good baseball. I was talking to Kevin about that. Was the fact that all week long, or the last couple of days, we've seen good defensive play, low-scoring ball games, pitchers' duels. Didn't turn out that way today, which was unfortunate, but nonetheless, a fine performance by Portage.
Once again, the final score here this afternoon at the Canadian Midget Baseball Championship. Portage 11, Richmond 3. The Canadian final is over. Thanks for watching, and goodbye, everyone.